Presented by Horns and Hooves Entertainment, you're watching Bob Hansen, Sean O'Malley, Rob Hazu, Tom Luchak, and Adam Fitzgerald. You still up? Live. It's Buffalo After Dark.
Hey guys, welcome to Buffalo After Dark. It is Wednesday, January 6th. We're actually coming at you twice this week. So if you didn't check us out on Monday, here we are again. So of course, I'm Tom. We got Bobby here. How you doing?
I'm good. Just enjoying my day as best I can. And go Bills.
Yeah, it was a good week for him. We'll talk about that in a little bit, do a little bit of recapping, and we'll also talk about some playoff predictions. Sean, how's it going down in Atlanta for you?
Oh boy, if only I could explain it, man. But hey, it is what it is. I'm here right now, ready to talk some Bills and all that fun jazz.
Nice. Hey, Luffy, how much weed you smoking today?
I was just in the process of smoking one actually, and I haven't really started yet, but I'll get there. But I'll be good here shortly.
Right, you breaking out any of that sativa tonight or what?
Oh no, dude, I can't do that on live ever again.
That was fun.
Yes, it was. So
I gotta go straight Indica on live broadcast.
Gotcha. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna obviously talk about the Bills, but we do have some breaking news coming out earlier this week, and actually this was within actually we broke it last night here on Horns and Hooves Entertainment on our page. But John Muckler, the ex-Rangers coach, ex-Sabres coach and GM, and who is responsible for a lot of the Oilers dynasty, actually passed away at the age of 86. And he ended up coaching 4 different teams, won 5 Stanley Cups with Edmonton, and no cause of death was given at this point. But I'll tell you, I mean, he did a lot of good things in his career. He's definitely well respected.
Yeah, and I think he was also the GM for the Ottawa Senators that put Alfredson, Spezza, and the rest of the 2003 Ottawa Senators on there.
Yeah, that he was. A very illustrious career, man.
For the most part. And I'm pretty sure, too, he was also the guy that traded for Danny Heatley.
Yeah, he had dealings with lots of high key players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of good memories.
Absolutely. And then on top of it, to wrap up his career, he ended up being a senior advisor with the Phoenix Coyotes back in September of 2008. He ended up working alongside Coach Wayne Gretzky at that time. And they had a close relationship from when Gretzky was coached by Muckler. So I mean, definitely, it's one of those things. When you lose anybody in the NHL, let alone the sports world, it's always tough. But Buckler was one of those guys. Always liked him, regardless of anything. I mean, he definitely had the chops, and he had a great career. So really, the biggest thing I'll say is Godspeed to John Muckler. And thanks for all his contributions to the sport.
Yep. Amen.
Yep. Absolutely. Let's jump right into the hot box tonight. So what we're going to do is, of course, the Bills had a great win. They wrapped up the season by kicking Miami's ass. They punched them right in the throat. They didn't let up. And, of course, for some reason, Trevor's not here tonight because I would have absolutely loved to ram it down his throat in terms of how we're going to totally destroy the Colts, which I think is a very good possibility. But let's recap everything. Josh Allen, he's definitely an MVP candidate right now.
I'm going to let Sean go first.
I mean, hands down, man. I mean, the guy's just the guy's not human. I'll just say that. I mean, holy crap, setting record week after week after week and all that fun jazz. Like he's the first player in NFL history, if I can remember, that had to have over 4,500 passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it was like 30 plus rushing touchdowns or something like that.
Yeah, and did he have? I think it was like also 45 plus touchdowns as well.
I think so. I can definitely look this up for you real quick to help you out.
I mean,
yeah, because I always save the stats and stuff like that on Instagram and all that. So when I get it. Okay, so Josh Allen's single season franchise record this year alone is he's the leader all time in passing yards, touchdowns, completions, and completion percentage rating.
I mean, dude's making history, man.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
It's just going to keep getting better, isn't it?
And how about freaking Isaiah McKenzie, man? What a day he had.
Oh, that was great. I mean, literally, he got his hat trick right in the first half. I mean, you have your two receptions for a touchdown, and then you end up having that punt return. I mean, that was a great way to top it.
Oh man, that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, literally threw the afterburners on. I'm like, wow, that was just beautiful.
And let's give a shout out to Matt Barkley, man. Because in the second half, even though even in the second half, we were still wailing on Miami's so-called number one
pass defense.
Pass defense. Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh, that pass defense. I mean, we made them look like they were absolutely like a bottom-ranked team.
Oh man.
Well, to me,
what a game, dude, for real.
I mean, the Bills made them look amateurs. That's what it was. And I find it pathetic that with the Dolphins, they were at a 10-6 record or 10-5, whatever the number is. And then all of a sudden, you have to win a critical game in Buffalo, and you get your ass kicked, but not only by the starters who only played a half a game, you also get your ass kicked by the practice squad team.
Yeah. I mean, literally, second string, third string players. I mean, and they're still whooping on Miami. I mean, especially look at the running game in the second half, and we weren't even playing our starters.
For real.
Yeah, it's ludicrous. It really is ludicrous. And the fact that the Bills just kept on going and did not even put their foot off the gas was, to me, a great sign for the playoffs, because it tells me that they don't want to do what they did last year against, if you remember, in the first round against the Texans, they kind of let their foot off the gas. And then, of course, the bullshit calls came out of nowhere. And now we're going into the weekend where they can prevent this. They can avoid this signature thing again, exercise the demons, and just take it out on the Dolphins and be like, we're ready for the Indianapolis Colts. That's basically what I think their goal and their mindset is going forward.
Yeah, they definitely took a big step forward, because watching that Texans game last year in the wild card round, I mean, we dominated the Texans in that first half. I mean, every single category. I mean, when you look at the offensive production, defensive production, special teams, we owned the Texans in that first round, or in that first half of the first game. And then what happened from there, of course, Houston came back, ended up forcing us into overtime because we basically blew a 20-plus point lead. And then, of course, we ended up blowing it on a field goal.
Oh, that was just heartbreaking. Doesn't even describe it, man.
Yeah.
But hey, we got a chance to redeem ourselves this Saturday.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And it's definitely a winnable game, but I mean, don't take the Colts lightly, because the fact of the matter is Frank Reich is a good coach. I mean, he has done a lot of good things with a depleted roster and not having the best QBs around. I mean, look at what he's done with Phillip Rivers. I mean, he does have that offense doing some things, and he's actually been fairly decent in terms of their defensive package. But the problem is that, I mean, Indy, yeah, they have some wide receivers that they can go to, but at the same time, they're getting older, so they don't have like the amount of weapons that Buffalo has. Still, they can be a dangerous team, and there's a lot of things that they have to watch for.
Here's two things I'll say. You never underestimate the underdog, because Phillip Rivers might be old and whatever, but he's gone for another 2-3 year contract probably. So he's gonna do whatever the fuck he can to beat the Bills, or try to show them up at least. Mm-hmm. Plus, I think the win with the Bills over the Dolphins wasn't just a beatdown. It was a statement to say, hey, we're fucking here, and we're not here to fucking play around. Just to send a message to whoever they had to play.
Yep.
Yeah, for the most part. And because while we're on the topic of this with the Colts, I actually grabbed the stats leading up to this game. And I think if you guys are interested, I'll be more than happy to share it with you.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Sorry, my eye's a little itchy.
That's fine.
So as far as offense, the Colts are ranked 10th. God damn it. Sorry, guys.
You're fine.
What's your eye, Bobby? You keep your finger?
No, it's one of my eyelashes is stuck. Sorry.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah. So anyway, the Colts are ranked 10th in offense. The Bills are number 2 ranked in offense in the NFL. Would you believe that? Yeah.
They turned it up.
Yep. And it gets better. The Colts are ranked 8th in defense, and the Bills are ranked 14th. And this is probably because they let up 26 points against the Dolphins. That's probably my guess. And then in passing game, the Colts are ranked 11th, and the Bills are ranked 3rd. And then last but not least, in the rushing game, the Colts are ranked at the 11th seed, and then the Bills in rushing are ranked 20th. So for me, as far as these stats are going, the Bills are going to have to beat the Colts in the air, not on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
No, their run game is sometimes pretty fucking weak. So obviously you got to go through their wide receivers and depend on Allen, but you can't do that the whole time. You're going to have a run game at some point.
Well, yeah, obviously. So what I think they're going to do, and this is my perspective, is Brian Dable is probably going to call the plays where they feel that the Colts can take an advantage of as far as the run game goes. And then on third down, that's when they'll start the passing game. And then everything will be in play and it'll be just fine. And then I guess that's what they'll do. I mean, who the hell knows? I mean, Buffalo's defense might come to play against Indianapolis on that day. So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And kind of talking a little bit about that, I mean, the fact that now with Buffalo picking up Kenny Stills this past week, picking up Tanner Gentry, who used to be a teammate of Josh Allen's, and then also activating Tyler Kroft off the COVID list, I mean, there's 3 potential weapons we can go with, but especially Kenny Stills. Now that we have another legitimate deep ball threat that we can go to in addition to Stephon Diggs, I mean, that only is going to help us. And one of the things I can say right now is if I'm any other team, including Kansas City, I don't want to face the Bills right now because they have so much firepower that they can go to, especially through the air.
Definitely. I mean, I think Buffalo, and we talked about this on Monday. I think Buffalo and Kansas City are the 2 strongest teams coming out of that conference to represent the Super Bowl. But I've heard a lot of Chiefs fans, not because I have friends who are Chiefs fans, and there was some I went to high school with, and this was before Patrick Mahomes. A lot of them I've seen online, when they see the Buffalo Bills, they're like, I like where they're going, but I hope they lose. Because they don't want to play the Bills, even whether it's in Kansas City or Buffalo.
Here's the thing too. You got some Chiefs fans keep saying that how the Chiefs destroyed the Bills. Let me tell you something right now. Beating us by 9 points is not destroying. I don't care what the stats were. Okay, like it's annoying. All right, I'm just saying.
I got a buddy. He's a Chiefs fan, and he said the number 1 team he doesn't want to play in the playoffs is the Bills.
Right. Yeah, and even though the score was close, I mean, literally, we forced Mahomes to be a different QB than what he likes to do, and that's something I've noticed in the times we've played him. Typically with Mahomes, he's very similar to Josh Allen. He likes to get out of that pocket. He loves to run, and he'll make plays happen, regardless of which way, if he's going to be out of the pocket or if he's going to be running on the field. But if we end up boxing Mahomes in and we keep him purely in the pocket, basically making him be someone like a Roethlisberger, who's a pure pocket passer, game over for Mahomes because he's not in his comfort zone.
Well, that's the same with Rivers. If you get Rivers and trap him, he doesn't like to run inside the pocket. So you don't see him run too much outside the pocket too often and not very hard. But catch him in the pocket, and that's where he gets sacked all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then even looking at Allen over the last 3 seasons, I mean, when Josh Allen first came into the league, one of the biggest assets he had was his running game. And a lot of the analysts didn't even think he could do that. Everyone was talking about, he has a cannon for an arm, but nobody knew that he was a legitimate dual threat quarterback. Then as we saw him go into year 2, and especially now year 3, I mean, if we look back earlier in the season, there were times Josh Allen was just standing in the pocket for 3 to 5 seconds at a time, reading the entire damn defense and just picking his target wherever he wanted to go. And the thing is, I mean, now that's a scary thought, especially if we end up going against Kansas City, because Allen is more comfortable in the pocket now than he ever was. But yet he can still run the option if he wants to, and he can run the ball, go outside, whatever he wants to do. I mean, he has so many different dynamic plays he can work with that it's a legitimate threat to any other team that goes against us.
Well, he's unpredictable too, right? He's not he's going to do this every time. The defense can't call him every time because you don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, 3 seasons in the league, and a lot of these teams still can't read him. Can't read what he's going to do on the offense. That's a beautiful thing.
Oh, fuck, when I'm watching the guy, I don't know what he's going to do. You can't tell where he's going to. Most of the time for Josh Allen, you know he's going to pass. But then there's other times that you think, oh, yeah, that's the easy passing play, and he runs it up the fucking field 15, 16 yards. You can see it coming. You know, he's surprising, right?
Yeah, it's pretty scary. I mean, nobody knows. I mean, when he came into the league, everybody said he was raw. And then he got better as year 1 went on, and then year 2 went on. Now we're in his 3rd year where he's really showing he can be a franchise QB. And all of a sudden now nobody wants to play him.
Right. It's like, hey, New York Jets, what do you think about us moving up?
The New York Jets.
Oh, and
They're
for anyone that didn't hear, Adam Gase got fired like 5 hours after the game.
Oh, goody.
Took them long enough.
Right. And they tanked wrong, so they're not even going for Trevor Lawrence now. That's Jacksonville.
Yep.
Oh, wait, Doug Marone got fired too.
Doug Marone got fired. Adam Gase got fired. Anthony Lynn got fired. Who else got fired?
There's like 6 open head coaching positions right now, right? Isn't there?
And then there was speculation about the Bears coach being fired, but then we're like, why right now? They're in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're in the playoffs. Why would you fire the coach right then and there?
Right.
Why did they
need him? Maybe it's like, hey, you know what? If you lose this fucking game, you're done.
Right. I mean, remember on Monday, I know Bobby and Adam, we were all talking about this, and we had that one article we were sharing on here, and I'm like, why would you put Matt Nagy was fired when he's not fired yet? I mean, there's speculation that it could happen, but he's in the playoffs. He's in the NFC playoffs.
Somebody's reading into the future. They can probably see that the Bears are smashed. That's probably what.
The Bears are going to get destroyed regardless what happens in the playoffs next week.
Right. Yeah, and then Vic Fangio is going to be staying with Denver, and then of course, Cleveland to actually clinch a playoff spot. I mean, it's hilarious. First, they beat Pittsburgh, so that was beautiful to see. Then what happens? Of course, we killed Miami. Miami ends up getting eliminated from the playoffs, and then the Browns end up in the playoffs for the first time in years. But I mean, Baker Mayfield's reaction, though, I'm like, okay, you're talking like, oh, I'm the greatest QB now that we're in the playoffs and we set a culture standard and we did all these changes. I'm like, yeah, it's like, Mayfield, you're still, okay, you got to the big game, you had some help along the way. I mean, come on. I mean, your team's not that great yet. It's better than it has been. You finally have a decent head coach for a change. But Cleveland, you're still not that great of a team yet.
Well, if you want to hear something more Brownsy than ever, are you ready for this?
Go for
Kevin
it.
Stefanski has COVID.
Oh, even better.
I heard of that.
Oh,
dang.
Yeah, and that's not all. Half of their offensive line now has COVID.
So they're getting depleted at the wrong time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Cleveland is not in the best shape right now as far as preparing for this game.
I have a feeling Pittsburgh's going to destroy them.
Yeah, that rematch.
Pittsburgh's going to kill them.
It's going to happen either way, but like now you got half your offensive line out. It's like God was saying, like, no, never. You're never going to win this game. I'm not allowing it.
Right.
Fucking Cleveland.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is new? It's the goddamn Browns.
Exactly. And then I will say this to Jacksonville Jaguars. Thank you for convincing Doug Marone to take $5 million and leave Buffalo, because you just got us a head coach of the year candidate in Sean McDermott. And we're in the playoffs, is one of the top 5 teams in the entire league. And even better, you guys took Marcel Darius, you got rid of some of our cap problems, and you got to fire Doug Marone and Nate Hackett, which Nate Hackett's now with the Packers. So thank you, Jacksonville, for being that stupid for hiring Doug Marone, because that helped us out a million ways more than once.
And the sheer arrogance of saying Duval as if it means something. You remember that playoff run 3-4 years ago when the Bills made the playoffs for the first time in 20 years almost?
Yeah, thanks to Andy Dalton and the Bengals.
Yeah, and they just barely beat the Bills. And then all of a sudden they beat Pittsburgh and they got killed by New England. They were up by 10 in the fourth, and then their season was over. And then after that, they went 5-11. So it's like you had one good year, and all of a sudden you were hot shit. And then you trade Jalen Ramsey. You trade Yannick Ngakoue, who didn't even want to be there. You trade for Nick Foles. Then you trade him. And then all of a sudden now you're stuck in limbo. And now Shad Khan comes out and says, no matter who the coach is and no matter who the general manager is, I'm going to be the last one to be having the say.
Yep, so Shad Khan is basically channeling his inner Jerry Jones.
Fucking Jerry.
It's just a whole bunch of hot garbage.
Yeah, I know. And even better, and Mike Shanahan still couldn't get the Cowboys into the playoffs.
Mike Shanahan.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Is this live, Tom?
No, it's being it's recording right now, but it'll be up live.
Okay. Because I was looking at the corner, I'm like, wait, is that thing on?
Yeah, no, I'm actually using the broadcast software I have, so it's actually recording off of Zoom.
Gotcha. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So anyway, so
sometimes
speaking of the NFC East.
Yeah, go for it.
Speaking of the NFC East, I'm never going to make fun of Washington again because they have no name. I'm not making fun of them again. They won the division. They're in the playoffs. Kudos to them. We all talked smack about them because they had no name, but they're in the playoffs. And they might get knocked off in the first round, but still.
Well, I will say this. I mean, them getting rid of Dwayne Haskins, I mean, that actually was not a bad move. Second thing, Alex Smith coming back. I have to say this. If anyone deserves comeback player of the year, it's that guy. I mean,
absolutely.
Seriously, going through 17 surgeries, almost losing his leg, almost ending up dead from the infection, and then taking 2 years to come back and still actually be able to take a beating and come back and have no issue. I'll give him he's not the best QB in the league by any means. I mean, he wasn't with San Francisco and he wasn't with Kansas City, but I got a lot of respect for him. I mean, to go through all that and come back and play a game you love, by all means, you deserve it.
Absolutely, by a long mile. That's not even a question at this point.
Yeah, just give him the comeback player of the year right off the bat.
Absolutely. So what was I going to say? Because Adam already had his prediction. Tom had his prediction, but let's ask John the questions between all of the games for the playoffs and leading up to it. So what do you think is going to happen for the first round?
Oh, boy. For one thing, I do believe the Bills will come up with a W. Pittsburgh's going to win. Who else?
Baltimore, Tennessee.
Oh, boy. That one. Oh,
it's a tough pick. You have a hard time picking that
I have a feeling Baltimore's going to get their revenge.
Yeah, he agrees with me.
Yeah, Tom, who did you say? Baltimore?
It was Ravens versus Titans. I was actually picking Tennessee in an upset.
I said Titans as well, and then Adam over here is like, "You fucking crazy, you fucking bitch."
Right. Guys, I'm gonna step out for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So. Leading up to that, Sean, Washington and Tampa.
Yeah, I give it to Tampa.
Tampa? Okay. What about Chicago and New Orleans?
Saints.
All right. And then you have the Seahawks and the Rams.
Oh, boy.
Because these dorks said the Rams.
I gotta go with Seattle on this one.
Thank you. So,
because here's my dream match for the Super Bowl: Bills and Seahawks.
Bills Seahawks. I said Bills Packers.
I said Bills Saints.
Yeah. I think Tom said the same thing. Bills Saints. Unless he's wrong, I don't really know. But anyway, so. Let's get right down to it. So Adam and I were talking about this for a little while, and we were talking about who the new general manager of the Carolina Panthers was going to be. And one name that came up to mind was Nick Caserio. And Nick Caserio, as of yesterday, and it's now official today, has become the new general manager of the Houston Texans.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, Adam was not happy one bit about it.
No, it's fucking dumb. The guy's gone. Like he's literally just saying, like, hey, here's my career. I'm gonna pick my career over some money, and then that's it. Because the Texans are not going anywhere. So
For the most part, yeah. So the Texans, they may have picked up the right guy, but we'll see what happens with that position. Because Nick Cassiero has been harassed by the Texans for the whole calendar year, and the Patriots told him to fuck off. They come back, and then they be like, "We have some candy." They still told him to fuck off. And then a year later, because the Texans didn't have a GM with Bill O'Brien, who traded DeAndre Hopkins, and now they are back to square one, and they end up getting Nick Caserio. So now the Panthers have to go out and get a new general manager. We don't even know who it is yet, but one name that came up who had a very strong interview is Bill's assistant GM, Joe Schuin.
no, I'd rather go for Ireland.
But would you go for Ireland? Yeah. So, yeah, Jeff Ireland was one of the names that was brought up as the interviewee processor for the New Orleans Saints. He's the assistant general manager, and he was the ex-GM of the Dolphins. Another name that came up was Jerry Reese, the former GM of the Giants that won 2 Super Bowls. His name came up, and a few others came up. I think it was Adam Peters. He's the director of player personnel for the 49ers. His name came up. And so and there's a few other people that came up, but the Panthers have a long list of people that they're going to have to look at. And there's also been talk now that, and I said this too, is the Panthers defensive coordinator got a job as an O coordinator or defensive coordinator at LSU. So now the Panthers are going to have to find a new defensive coordinator and possibly a new offensive coordinator, because now it's getting more and more speculative that Joe Brady, the Panthers offensive coordinator, might take the head coaching job for the Houston Texans.
I fucking hope he doesn't.
Well, we'll have to find out eventually when that all comes together.
There goes the fucking show, man. If we lose him too, like our whole fucking system is fucked.
Well, like I said, the new GM's going to have to make that decision. Who they hire as the coordinator, it all comes down to that rule, what he wants to do. So it's all going to just have to play itself out, because the Panthers are unpredictable. They don't really hire the best people, but they can make competitive people, as far as I'm concerned, as far as bringing up a defense, as far as bringing up an offense. So I guess we'll find out what happens within the next week or so. But it seems like to me the Texans have already settled in on their guy with Nick Caserio. So he could very well bring in a new coach who has been getting a certain amount of interviews. So I guess now with Caserio in the realm, the Texans have a little more flexibility to hire a new head coach. So it's probably best for any professional sports team to have both the general manager first, then the coach, because you don't hire the coach before the general manager, because then you can end up burning the relationship and it can hurt the team. So that's probably always best to hire the general manager first before you hire a head coach.
I kind of feel like the Panthers are just in full rebuild mode at this point.
Yeah, by this point they're gonna probably RB. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater's a starter. He's for a little while, unless they do something about it. And then you have PJ Walker, the backup there. And the Panthers brought back Jordan Sly for a 1-year contract. So things are all up and coming for the Panthers, at least for what you're hoping for. And then there's going to be a lot of transactions within the next couple of weeks of who's going to be the coach, who's going to be the assistant general manager, who's going to be the general manager of whatever. Because the other day, too, the Broncos found out that John Elway is stepping down as the general manager, and they're going to bring in someone else to take the role.
That's probably a good thing for them, though.
Probably, because the only thing he's ever accomplished was bringing in Peyton Manning to be the QB for that won them the Super Bowl 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever the number was. And again, these are all moving parts for a lot of teams. So we'll see what happens. So the Bills could lose both Joe Schuin if he accepts a job with either the Panthers or the Atlanta Falcons. So we'll see if one of these two guys or one of these two teams ends up getting him. And then Brian Dable, the Bills offensive coordinator, is being leaked in as the head coach of the Chargers or the Jets. We don't know exactly who's going to get the job, but the Jets and the Chargers both might change their minds, and they might go with someone that's better than the other. So it's going to be hard to tell who gets hired and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a lot of hearsay right now, but soon enough they'll have to sign somebody.
Yeah, for the most part. It just has to work itself out. That's the best way possible. And what about you, Sean? What do you think?
I mean, hey, if they believe Dayball is the guy for them, I mean, then kudos to him. But again, like you said, if they think someone else is better than him, then they're going to keep searching. And Dayball's, I don't know, maybe Dayball might go somewhere else for a head coach. If no one, if there was another team looking for a head coach and they believe he might be a top candidate, but if that doesn't work out, then hey, I can have another year with Dayball with us. You know,
I really
If
hope they
I,
don't let him go.
if I was the Panthers,
I'm
though,
hoping not either.
I'd literally keep the offensive coordinator in Brady, and then I'd fucking fire the whole rest of them. Coach, the fucking defensive coordinator, the fucking scouts, the whole fucking office. Fire them all.
Yeah, you would rather just fire everybody but Brady. That's fun.
Oh, Brady's fucking good at what he does.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the guy that coached Joe Burrow at LSU just a year ago.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And if he can make a bum like Teddy Bridgewater look half mediocre, he's doing something right.
Yep. Could you imagine what he does with a rookie quarterback?
Like Zach Wilson. Yeah.
Yep, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones. There's a lot of options.
It could be franchise changing to have Brady and a guy like Wilson with the Panthers. It literally could.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Tom? You back already?
Hey, yeah, everything's all right.
That's good.
Did you have to go PP?
No, wifey ended up being on the phone. Had to take care of something for her.
Yeah.
Okay, phone sex during podcast is not allowed.
Hey, it's all good, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
You got to do, I guess.
Exactly. So it's all good. No worries.
Yeah, so to keep you intact, we were talking about Nick Caserio, who accepted a 6-year extension with his new contract as the general manager of the Houston Texans, and then Joe Schoen, the assistant general manager for the Bills, was interviewed by the Carolina Panthers for a GM position, and he's being interviewed now by the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay, I mean, some decent choices. I mean, Houston, of course. I mean, they really got to pick up a lot of pieces because I mean, Bill O'Brien totally screwed that franchise for a while. I mean, especially after some of the big trades he ended up architecting off of it. So, I mean, especially the whole Kenny Stills thing. I mean, how stupid was he to do that? And then you look at Jadeveon Clowney and other players he's had. I mean, you're wasting their talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we also mentioned that there's been speculation that Joe Brady could be the new head coach of the Houston Texans and could lead the Panthers within 1 year after his arrival of Charlotte.
That'd be interesting if that happens. I mean, but they definitely need to get some stability.
No, if he leaves, I'm gonna snap because that's the only one little bright light that we have right now is him.
Well, I mean, they already lost their D coordinator to LSU, so.
Our D coordinator obviously shows how much of a shit show he is if he's sent to LSU.
Well, I mean, LSU is one of the best college football teams in the country.
You don't leave an NFL team to go down to a college team and pretend like it's a good thing.
Yeah, how to work out for Nick Saban and
or Steve
Bobby
Spurrier.
I mean, man, like it's not a positive thing to have a fucking defensive coordinator be like, oh guys, you know what? I'm in an NFL club right now, doing total garbage. I'm gonna go down to an LSU, and that's a good thing.
Right.
No, that's showing that your career has gone to shit.
Yeah.
Some coaches are just meant for college and others are meant for the NFL. That's all. That's
right.
all.
Like, look at what Urban Meyer's done in the college game. I mean, he is one of those perennial college coaches that absolutely belongs in the college game.
Yep.
Yeah.
And fuck your hat.
Yeah, you like my hat, don't you?
No, I was talking about his hat and him leaving and go fuck his hat.
Yeah, I actually have his hat, which is funny. I actually have the same exact hat.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Mr. Generic. Oh, by the way, Bobby's new nickname is Mr. Generic.
Yeah, because I say a lot of the same things on every show or every conversation we ever have. So he calls me Mr. Generic.
No, it's because you get like sidetracked and you're paying attention to something else. You're just like, yeah, we'll see how it goes, or play it out, play it by ear. Stupid little comments. I can just tell when you're not paying attention.
How can you see me if you're covered?
What do you mean?
Well, your whole screen is black and it just has your name.
I can see you though.
You can see me.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
I'm just
besides,
staring
anyone who
at you.
watches anyone who watches this show, you get like that 4-second blurb of Adam's face in the intro, so he's not completely the mystery man.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
actually, I think we chose a pretty
Yes,
good
thank-
picture of him too.
You saved the best for last.
Yeah, for the most part.
But
Uh,
hey guys, we have some breaking news out of the Buffalo Sabres right now. So Zemgus Girgensons is done for the season.
Oh,
fuck.
man.
So this was just released. He had hamstring surgery earlier today. So what happened is he was injured during a scrimmage on Monday. It's a minimum 6-month recovery for him. And basically what happened is he tried to check teammate Stephen Fogarty, who was up on like one of the practice squads or rookie squads. So Ralph Kruger actually ended up saying, quote, we all can feel the hole that Zemgus leaves with his injury. The character, the work ethic, the role that he has in our group is something that makes him unique. I challenged the group today to chip in and to take a piece of that hole. We're going to keep Zemgus close because how important he is in the organization, what a personality he is in the organization. We want to keep him close in the rehab and to help him get back. So just to give you an idea of what happened last season, he had 19 points, 12 goals, 7 assists across 69 games. And he actually did lead the forwards in hits with 110. So that's what ended up happening. Eichel ended up saying that you feel bad for him. And really from there, they're just saying that the other players defensively need to step up. So Girgensons is done.
That's a huge blow on the penalty kill right there.
You know, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm just laughing because you just lost like your top penalty killer.
But you know what? That's probably why it was a good thing that they brought in Riley Sheehan for a PTO. So now that Girgensons is gone for the year, you might as well bring out Sheehan and have him sign a PTO and have him take that spot.
You think he can compare his fucking spot?
It's possible. I mean, what are they going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, all they can do is suck it up, I guess.
Well, I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll find out eventually what Kruger does because there's so many options he can do with the penalty kills. You're not going to always have Eichel out there. So you might as well just bring in somebody like Sheehan, sign a contract, and just put him on the penalty kill. Have him practice it out for a little bit before the season starts because the season is just maybe under a week away. And we're going to have to find out eventually when all of this comes to play.
Right. And then on top of it, also keep in mind, Dylan Cousins and Jack Quinn are coming up to practice with the Sabres. So depending on how they perform, especially with any of the scrimmages coming up, there is a possibility that one or both of them could see some time during the season.
Well, if they do that, then they have to limit the contract of their ELC within after 5 games.
Right. So that's the other thing you have to watch because we remember what happened with Mikhail Grigorenko when good old clerk Darcy Regier fucked that up.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I want $7 million."
Yeah, he didn't last in the NHL. He went back to the KHL, and he didn't even last there.
Yeah, he's a bust. I'm sorry. I had so much hype for Grigorenko when he got drafted, and I was just like, well, let's see what this guy can really live up to be because he was equivalent to Malkin, and then later somebody said Spezza, which never turned out to be that way. So
yeah.
I mean, it's been almost 10 years since Grigorenko was drafted, and he hasn't done anything since being drafted. He's already in his mid-20s.
Right. But yet, here you have Jaromir Jagr. He's still playing, and he's almost 50. He signed another season over across the pond.
Well, there's a difference between Mikhail Grigorenko and Jaromir Jagr.
Yeah.
One is a Hall of Famer or a future Hall of Famer, and the other one didn't even get a chance to shine in the NHL. Gets traded and then does nothing in between.
Yeah,
and he's
Jagr's
now like an AHL player for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah, literally, Jagr's like the ageless wonder. He just keeps going.
He's probably got another year left on him anyway. I mean, he's also a co-owner of a team over in the KHL.
Very true. Very true. And actually, to talk about this right now with Cousins and Jack Quinn, that leads us into our next segment, the World Juniors.
Oh, yes. Adam's the only Canadian in this chat, and he's bitter. After all the shit he spoke about in the World Juniors, he's just like, Canada's going to kill the U.S. Your goalies are no match for Canada. Look at your top six. You guys are pathetic in between. You guys are going to lose.
Yeah, and the U.S. beats Canada 2-0.
Hey, you know what? It is what it is. Congrats.
I mean, how do you feel after looking like a total dunce after yesterday?
It wasn't that bad, man. You make it seem like you guys like demolished us.
No, not even that. It's not the score that makes me happy. It's the fact that you spoke so much shit leading up to that game. And I was just like, we'll see how it goes. And if the U.S. pulls off,
I didn't even talk that much shit. I literally just said your goalie was garbage.
yeah, you said the goalie was garbage, and you said a few other things. You also said that Canada's offense was better than the United States' defense.
Well, if you look at paper, Canada was the all-around better team. You can't say they weren't.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, Travis Zekras is going to be a star in this league. Alex Turcotte's going to be a star in this league. The majority of these prospects that have played for either for the Kings or for the Ducks, both of these clubs have young talent on their roster and that are both going to explode in the NHL.
Yeah, I have no doubt that.
There is no doubt about it. And while on the top of all this, let's talk about Jason Botterill. The guy became the assistant general manager of the Seattle Kraken.
Yes,
Wow.
So Seattle actually did hire him, and he's going to be part of their first-year expansion.
Good God. God bless you, Sean.
You had to hire
Kudos to
somebody. You
him.
had to be like a bum like him, I guess.
Wait, what did you say?
I said you had to hire somebody. He's the
You,
first
not
ball
you.
team press.
Not you, Sean.
I said kudos to him.
Yeah, you want to know who he is? I'll give you a quick who he is. He's the guy that traded Ryan O'Reilly and then got the Blues a cup.
I know who he is.
Yeah.
Not you, Adam. I'm talking to Sean. I'm talking to the guy in the fucking Bills
And the
jersey.
Sabres got virtually zero in return. It's one of the worst trades I can remember in recent history.
Well, I just hope he learned his lesson from that. But who knows?
Well, maybe. I mean, Seattle's on the right track for executives, but if Botterill could live up to his days as a Pittsburgh Penguins assistant GM instead of the days with the Sabres GM, then maybe Botterill can bounce back. I don't think that he'll screw it up because he's going to at least have some sort of partnership with Ron Francis. As Ron Francis has been a GM, and he kind of knows how to build a team. Because look at Carolina. Players that are on the Kings roster right now were players that Ron Francis drafted. So all these things are moving parts about what's going to happen going forward with Seattle. And we'll find out in July who they draft.
Okay, here's a good topic. Who do you think Buffalo is going to give up in the expansion draft?
Probably Colin. I'm going to say a defenseman.
Yeah, but who? Don't say a defenseman. I could fucking say a defenseman.
I'm going to say Colin Miller.
It's a good choice.
Yeah. Oh, shit!
What?
Oh, shit!
What the fuck?
Oh, boy. Here we go.
All right.
Yeah!
Trevor
What
Hauer
just
from the
happened?
Hauer Hour podcast has come into the Lions Den.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
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 How's it
Oh,
going?
Nice.
dear.
How's it going, guys?
Oh,
Not
dear.
bad, man.
I'm ready for the Saturday, I guess.
This is going to be entertaining.
Oh, yes.
How we doing, guys?
We're doing
Good.
good.
Yourself.
Doing good.
In
Doing
fact,
all
you
right.
know
I
what?
think you should be prepared to be ganged up on, bud, because it's about to happen.
Mhm.
Let's do it. Let's jump right into the hot
All right.
box and let's go into Bills versus Colts.
How about it?
Yeah.
How about it? How about it, boys?
Let Trevor go first. Trevor, you want to hear your opinion on the game?
Okay. I mean, it would really help me out if the Texans were to win on Sunday, so the Colts would get home field against the Ravens. I prefer that a lot more than facing the second seed Bills. I don't know what to expect, but I mean, I don't think it's going to be a good outcome for Indianapolis, honestly. But at least if they lose and get eliminated, they're losing to the second seed team. I'm not expecting much.
So, in other words, you're expecting the Colts to lose to the Bills.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, Jesus Christ, at least he's realistic.
At least it's being real.
I'm being real. I'm not gonna tell you that they're gonna go in there and they're gonna destroy the Bills, because that's just not gonna happen. If the Colts win, it'll be by 3 or less. So I don't know.
Well, I call you a pathological liar because of the fact that you did not say that 2 weeks ago.
Huh? Well, they're not in the playoffs. Well,
No, I know.
They weren't in the playoffs then. I mean, the Bills didn't put up 28 points with their backups back then either. So you got to take that into account as well.
Oh, I know. It's what I'm saying, like, leading up to all the playoff hype going into the game, because you were hoping for a Bills-Colts playoff game. It'd be like, oh, man, I'm from Buffalo. I'm a Colts fan. I can't wait to go to the game and watch Philip Rivers. He's the best fucking quarterback that the Colts have had in the last 5 years.
I was just thinking, like, maybe the Colts were the best team in the AFC to give them a run for their money. But, I mean, when they play on, they play on. When they play off, they play off. Like, they can beat the Packers and they can lose to Jacksonville. They can beat freaking what's that team? They can put 50 up on the Raiders, but then they'll lose to the Ravens. Like, they're an inconsistent team, but if they play on, it should be a close game. If they play off, it shouldn't be a close game. It's so hard to predict, like, the Colts, like, how they play. It's so hard to predict. That's why the one thing I've learned rooting for this team for 14 years is never bet for or against the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, unless they had
never bet against the underdog, man. You never do.
Yeah. Well, I like the Colts. I mean, I think I like the position that they're in. Like, the adopting the underdog mentality. The Colts are usually statistically playing fairly well in road playoff games, but I mean, this team that they're going up against is just like on another level.
Yeah, Buffalo proved on Sunday, and Adam brought this up before he came on. He said when they blew out the Dolphins with their backups, he was saying, the Bills are no joke, and they are trying to make a statement saying, hey, they're ready to come play in the playoffs, and they're up for anybody that stands in their way. And leading up to the week, and I said this to everybody on Monday because we had a little show about the playoffs, because this is when the schedule first came out. And the prediction I said was, I welcome Indianapolis. I really do. And I'm not saying this is going to be a cakewalk, because I'm not undermining the Colts in any way, shape, or form. And I respect the Colts. I do. But here's the thing. I also said to the guys that and we also had a little pie chart earlier too, and I can bring up the stats if you're interested. And the Colts' strongest feed going into Buffalo is the run game.
Jonathan Taylor. Yep, Jonathan Taylor.
And who's the other one they have? I forget his name.
They get Nyheim Hines back there too.
That's his name.
Because Marlon Mack is out for the year with an Achilles injury. Paris Campbell, who is a great receiver, tore his ACL and PCL in week 3. So no Paris Campbell, no Marlon Mack, but you got Pittman Jr. in there, a solid rookie wide receiver who really reminds me. I mean, if you guys listened to my podcast last night with Vinny, Mike, and Ryan, I was saying, like, Pittman reminds me a lot of Gabe Davis in a way. I mean, he leads the Colts in, like, yards after catch, but for whatever reason, Rivers doesn't throw it to him doesn't target him more than 3 times a game. So I think maybe this is the game where you get to target Pittman 5 to 10 times and see what he does in the playoffs, because, like, his performances at USC, like, he was great in the regular season, but I mean, he was a lot better in the playoffs. So maybe you can try to give him the ball more. I don't know. Like, you don't want to change a lot, but I mean, they were 11-5. You don't want to change your entire game plan, but at the same time, you got to adjust to a team that's 13-3, and especially on the road in a 26-degree, partly cloudy day in Orchard Park on Saturday. So,
yeah, and
the number one attack is rushing attack for sure with Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, and reports were coming out that this is arguably going to be the 5th coldest game that Philip Rivers has ever played in his career, and always choked in those weather games, like games against Pittsburgh. And the games that he's always won in the playoffs were always teams indoors, never outdoors. And I find that very interesting because he barely beat New England when he was with the Chargers. He barely beat the Steelers in 2008. Yep. And is it going to be any? And I'm not disrespecting Philip Rivers, as I like Philip Rivers, but do you really think that he would be able to stand out in that perspective in the cold in this weather?
It's so hard to say. I mean, the consistency with Rivers has been a problem all season long. I mean, for the most part, especially in the second half of the season, he's been particularly well, especially for his age and the teams he was facing against in the second half of the season. But I mean, I looked at a stat today. He's 4-0 in wild card games. I don't know if that's saying anything. 2 of those were actually against the Indianapolis Colts back in the day. I think one was against the Steelers and maybe the other one was against the Chiefs or something like that. Back when like Larry Johnson and Trent Green were still playing. He's been in the league for so long. I mean, the cold weather, man, like they choked in Pittsburgh hard. That loss pissed me off. But I mean, Rivers has won games in Green Bay. He's won games in Cleveland. He's won games, he's won games in December outside in northern stadiums and outdoor stadiums, and they call it Phil-Sember because that's the best time of the year where statistically, that's the best time Philip Rivers has ever played, in the month of December. Should the cold be a factor? It really depends. How much pressure are they sending Rivers? How many times is he hitting the hard turf? And we'll see, because, I mean, you get to Rivers enough times, he's going to be throwing some stupid gunslinger play into triple coverage, and that's kind of been a problem all season long with him. One of his only problems that he's had all season, but I don't know. It really depends on the circumstances. How are the Bills going to pressure him? How are they going to send the house on him?
I kind of feel like the Bills are going to fucking send the fucking Wolves, man, into that pocket. Like I feel like they're going to fucking chase your defense into that fucking pocket so fucking hard. Like, I can just see it now. Like, and I hope all respect goes into Rivers, because I have all the respect in the fucking world for the guy to play at his age and do what he's done. Like, the guy's, he's a great player. He's a great QB. But I kind of feel like the Bills defense is going to choke the living shit out of him in that pocket.
Right. And here's a couple things. Like, at least the offensive line is giving the Bills front seven a run for their money. Like, that's a top 5 offensive line in this league that the Colts have, with Quentin Nelson and Anthony Costanzo's out, so they'll put in a backup left tackle. It's pretty good. Will Holden, who's coming off of an injury. You got Mark Lewinsky, who's a good guard. Ryan Kelly, a Pro Bowl center. And then Braden Smith at right tackle, who hasn't given up a sack all season long. I mean, I think that's a good offensive line. I mean, it's just so hard to predict this. And like, even if they lose this weekend, it's not like the end of the world. The Colts still have one of the youngest and promising receiving corps in the league right now. They have a young defense, and that hasn't even reached the top of their prime yet. Players that they've drafted that have turned out to be diamonds in the rough. And Jonathan Taylor coming back next year in his sophomore season. So there's a lot to look up for, even if they lose this game.
Yeah.
Well, I think too is that, like, even if they show up for this game, they fucking, play, do whatever they can in this fucking game. And if they lose by fucking 20 points or they lose by whatever, it's either going to be like they're going to get blown out, or it's going to be a 4 or 5 point game. It's not going to be like a monumental fucking, it's not going to be a difference. It's not going to be like a happy medium. It's going to be either you get blown out or you don't.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And actually, I've got some stats for the Bills for the entire season. So as a team, 501 points in the season, which is the most ever by the Bills, 60 touchdowns, most ever, and most wins in a season besides 1990 and 91. They went, of course, 13-3. But then Josh Allen on his own, 4,544 passing yards, 396 completions, 37 touchdowns that he actually ended up passing for. Diggs had 127 receptions for 1,535 yards, led the NFL. Corey Bojorquez. Special teams is another key point with the Bills. Highest gross punting average in a single season with 50.78 yards. So he's definitely getting the ball downfield. And then Tyler Bass, I mean, after he had that rough start, I mean, 141 points he scored during the season, which is the most ever in Bills team history. So it was really neat to see all of them come together towards like the middle and the end of the season and really step it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Sure.
and as far as offense defense goes for Trevor, prospectively,
Yeah.
this is the stats going in. On offense, the Colts are ranked 10th, and the Bills are ranked 2nd. And as far as defense, the Bills are ranked 14th, the Colts are ranked at 8th. And
Yep.
then in the passing game, the Colts are ranked 11th, and then the Bills are ranked 3rd in the passing game. And
Yep.
then in rushing, the Bills are ranked 20th, and the Colts are ranked 11th. So Indianapolis is ranked 11th in both the passing and on the rushing game. So their strongest attribution is the run game with Jonathan Taylor at this point.
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, you gotta feed him at least 25 to 30 times. I mean, if Rivers is throwing the ball over 30 times, they're not winning that game. It's not even a question. So you got to give Taylor the ball most of the time, maybe first and second down. I'm not giving like I'm not an offensive coordinator or anything, but if I were, I would say like try to run the ball first and second down, get those big yards with Taylor, and then get the third down and manageable, like maybe the third down and 3s, third down and 4s. I mean, Taylor can peel a couple runs off for like 12 to 20 yards. We saw against the Jacksonville, granted it's Jacksonville, but he got the game-winning score, which was a 45-yard rush out of the shotgun. I mean, I think he's going to be a beast. Like they're already comparing him to Edgerrin James in terms of Colts numbers for rookie running backs. I mean, I love seeing that because the last time we had a solid running game was like with Joseph Adai back in like 2008 and 2009, 2010. So this is awesome to see this. And they adopted the mentality last year with like run the damn ball with Marlon Mack. He obviously goes down. So Chris Ballard trades up in the draft and drafts Jonathan Taylor, and everyone's like, why are the Colts trading up to get a running back? We have Marlon Mack. Oh, well, this is why.
I'll put McCaffrey up against him.
Go for it.
Up against Big McCaffrey wins all day.
Oh, if McCaffrey's healthy, I mean, probably because he's been in the league a lot longer. Just I don't know. You can give Taylor a couple years to develop. He could be something dangerous in the league. Not saying better than McCaffrey, but he can be dangerous.
Yeah. What do you call it? Didn't somebody named Robert Costanzo, one of the Colts linemen, is out for the year with a torn ACL?
Yeah, something like that. I think it was a torn ACL. I think he tore his MCL as well. He's all messed up.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure another lineman has the same issue for Indianapolis. So I'm starting to think that Indianapolis has already lost some of their best starters on their offensive line, if I had to guess. Because apparently I read a stat the other day that in terms of AFC teams that are going into the playoffs as the healthiest, the Colts are probably around the fourth or fifth place seeding in that conversation.
I can agree with that. I mean, Anthony Costanzo, that left tackle who he was talking about retirement, and then Chris Ballard somehow swung a 2-year deal with him. He goes down and needs ankle surgery, so I don't know what this holds for the future with him, but the left tackle position needs to be figured out because, I mean, you got to figure out Phillip Rivers how to block his blind side because if you get him injured, you're not winning anything. And I know it's a playoff game, and it's not like Week 8 where they'll be screwed the rest of the year because they have games ahead. No, this is a playoff game. You win, you advance. You lose, you go home. And being the 7th seed, man, it's tough because even if the Colts somehow win this game, they got to play another road game. And then if they win that, they got to play another road game to go and then they got to win that to go to the Super Bowl. So, right. I mean, they've adopted the underdog mentality, and I can't think of a better coach in this situation than Frank Reich because he literally wore the dog masks when he was in Philly when they won the Super Bowl that year of adopting that underdog mentality. So, I mean, there are plenty of benefits or positives and negatives about having Reich as our coach and our play caller, but I think this is one of the positives about him because he's gonna fire him up any way he can, and Jacoby Brissett as well on the sideline, who's always just running up and down trying to fire him up. But Frank Reich is your best guy in this situation because. I mean, if you establish yourself as underdogs, that gives you motivation to go in there and beat the top teams. And the Colts obviously beat the Green Bay Packers this season. Should have won in regulation. They got cute, got a bunch of penalties, so they forced overtime. Colts won that game in overtime. Like, they can play up to their standards, but it's just about consistency. That's holding this team back.
That makes sense. But what are your thoughts, though? And I'm just asking just because I'm an outsider of the Colts. I'm not a Colts fan. But I have to ask you because there's been a lot of talk about Carson Wentz being wanting out of Philadelphia, and all of the betting odds are leaning towards Indianapolis getting Carson Wentz. What are your thoughts on this?
I just don't like it. I don't see it. I just don't see Carson Wentz having a comeback year in a change of scenery. I just don't. And well, number one, you got to mention his contract first. That contract is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
Philadelphia backed themselves into a corner with that contract. And then second, you got to think about who they benched him for. They benched him for a second-round rookie quarterback. I mean, he's obviously not that good. So I've heard rumors about Matthew Stafford. I've heard rumors about possibly even Aaron freaking Rodgers. I don't think that would ever happen, but I've heard rumors. I've heard rumors about Rivers re-signing. Matt Ryan, yeah. I've heard Rivers re-signing, and the Colts drafted QB in the first round this year so they can sit behind Rivers for a year and develop. I mean, Philip Rivers' contract says that they can franchise tag him for the vet minimum, so they can get him for a year for $600,000. And if he's playing like shit, you can bench him. I mean, you're paying him $600,000 next year. If he plays like shit next year, you can bench him and throw your rookie quarterback in there. I mean, there's so many options that the Colts can do. But God, I hate saying this because this happened almost 2 years ago. But God Almighty, this would be a much better game if Andrew Luck was playing.
I agree with you. I think Andrew Luck would have made the entire game a little bit more interesting. But because it's old-ass Philip Rivers, and he's almost 40, he's a statue, stand-the-pocket quarterback.
Traditional guy, yep.
I don't see any beacon of light coming out of this situation for him. And he's also playing in the worst possible scenario, in cold weather, in Buffalo. And he's never played in the playoffs in Buffalo before, in January. So this could be a do-or-die situation for him in Indianapolis as far as playoffs are concerned. Because if Buffalo blows them out, their defense is a lot stronger than it looked on in last week's game against the Dolphins. So going into the game, it's going to be very interesting how all this them.
I think the only way you win this game is if Jonathan Taylor, or is one, Jonathan Taylor has a big day, two, Philip Rivers has time to throw the ball. And you have to be able to send pressure to Josh Allen. Like, he can scramble, he can throw deep. You got to send pressure. And, like, what do you do with Diggs? You don't double him up because then you're leaving somebody wide open. So I swear to God, like, they better put, like, Xavier Rhodes on him or something. Or you might have to put Julian Blackmon, the rookie, on Gabe Davis. Maybe a little rookie on rookie. I mean, you have to plan for these things. And if it's Rock Ya-Sin going up against John Brown, good night. I mean, that's over. Rock Ya-Sin is a liability for this team. I've watched this team this entire year. Rock Ya-Sin is a liability. And when he went out last week with an injury, that was addition with subtraction. Like,
very true.
We noticed the backup, Tavon Wilson, swatting passes away. Granted, it was Mike Glennon, and all he had to cover was Laviska Shenault, but he was just swatting passes away from him.
Well, and you got to watch for fucking McKenzie too, man. McKenzie is like underrated as fuck, and
especially on special teams.
If you watched on the Dolphins game, like you could see that Allen was looking for Diggs whenever he could, but then there was three guys looking at Diggs, and there's like McKenzie's wide the fuck open all the fucking time.
Yep, because they're focused on guys like Diggs, and I don't know what the hell that defensive plan was in Miami, but they're letting Matt Barkley throw deep balls over Howard's head. I mean, that was ridiculous.
It made no sense on Miami's part. Absolutely none.
That was like cover zero, prevent every single play. That was like strong zone. I don't know what they were playing there. That was horrible.
Right.
They were just hot fucking. It was a hot fucking mess. They had no solution to any of Buffalo's fucking plays. Right. They had no solution to it.
I mean, they weren't even running zone defense necessarily. I mean, it's like virtually they gave us absolutely nothing to worry about. But breaking into some news right now from the Buffalo Bills. Brian Daboll. This is actually from the Herd and 10 podcast, which is part of 24/7 Buffalo Buffdemonium Group. The Herd and 10 podcast is actually they have mentioned that offensive coordinator Brian Daboll is the front runner for the LA Chargers head coaching job to replace Anthony Lynn.
Fuck.
Damn. Well, you know what? You guys shouldn't be worried. I mean, with that stacked team, honestly, they can play well under whoever's taking that job. And I mean, I've been hearing so much stuff as a Colts fan about Matt Eberflus possibly getting a head coaching job with the Chargers or the Texans. And I'm thinking with that young group of rookies, like, you should play well under any defensive coordinator that comes in there, because Matt Eberflus taught you a ton of what it means to be a solid defense in this league. This is the first time in maybe the second time in my 14 years of rooting for this team that the Colts have had a top 10 defense. And that's freaking sad. I mean, the Colts had a top 10 defense was with Bob Sanders, Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis, Jason David, players like that, David Thornton. I mean, Gary Brackett, those players back in the day. Now you have guys like Darius Leonard, Julian Blackmon, DeForest Buckner, Danico Autry, all these defensive players, right? So I think once you learn from these certain coaches, they should learn a bunch, and it doesn't really matter who takes that role because they've learned so much from the coach beforehand.
Right. And also, besides the Herd and 10 podcast, it was actually reported on Fansided as well. And the number one candidate that was listed on there was Brian Daboll. And what they ended up saying is that he is the likeliest candidate to become the next coach of the Chargers. He has a relationship with Tom Telesco, as the two of them went to the same high school in New York, and both of them have Bob Lamani as their agent. So then they also said, other than the connections to Telesco, they say that Daboll really fits what the Chargers need right now. They want someone to really help develop Justin Herbert and take him to the next level. And they gave him a ton of credit for developing Josh Allen. And then they also ended up mentioning the aggressiveness of Daboll's play calling will certainly draw the attention of the Chargers as well. And what happened is that, we knocked him last season when he would take the foot off the gas when he built up a huge lead. This year, he's not doing that. So right now, they're predicting that Daboll has a 75% chance of landing the head coaching job.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen because I think he's a brilliant offensive coordinator. But if you're going to bring out Daboll to go coach the Chargers, the least you could do in this situation is promote Ken Dorsey, who's the Bills quarterbacks coach, and the same guy who got where Cam Newton was 5 years ago. So promote him to be offensive coordinator.
We can't talk about Cam Newton, Jay. Shut the fuck up.
I was going to say, who knows what's going to happen in New England now, because apparently, Newton might be out.
I swear to God, if it's Trey Lance, I don't want it to be Trey Lance or Zach Wilson. Those are the two quarterbacks I want. Either Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, or maybe Kyle Trask.
Zach Wilson. You can't have him. It's mine. It's the Panthers. Okay? Fuck you.
I doubt New England's going to rely on Jarrett Stidham any longer, man.
There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, it's still the stupidest thing with.
Well, how much of that thing about Brian Daboll is all speculation? Because the Colts, from experts, say that they are the front runners to get Carson Wentz. None of those are verified. This is all speculation.
It's all hearsay. It's all it is.
It's all speculation and for clickbait, and it's all that stuff. Apparently, I remember last year before the free agency hit, the Colts are front runners to get Nick Foles. The Colts are front runners to get Tom Brady. The Colts are front runners to get Phillip Rivers. I'm like, every single free agent quarterback, the Colts are front runners to get.
Well,
this is all speculations.
Well, that's what happens when Andrew Luck retired. And it's not his fault that he retired, but that's also on the incompetence of Jim Irsay and Ryan Grigson and all these people. Right. They were the ones that put Andrew Luck out of his misery.
They put him through hell, man. I couldn't imagine. The amount of punishment he took in his first 3 seasons. And then that 4th season, oh, my God, he messed up his shoulder, lacerated his kidney, got a concussion, punctured his lung, I believe it was. I think he tore his rotator cuff and his labrum at the same freaking time. Yeah. That was what sidelined him for the entire 2017 season.
Yeah. you ever see the video, Trevor, from Urinity Tree about the Indianapolis Colts? You ever see that video?
Yeah.
That was painful, I'm sure.
Dude, I hated that. But it was all true. It was all true.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim Irsay needs to put the bottle down, needs to put the pills down once in a while and realize that he's got a problem on his hands.
Right.
I mean,
and Grigson was an idiot for a GM because he basically did nothing to give Andrew Luck protection.
no, you know what he did in 2015? Instead of building an offensive line, he drafted Philip Dorsett, a wide receiver. I'm like, you cannot be doing this. 2014, he drafts Dante Moncrief when he knows the Colts need, or when he knows Andrew Luck needs protection. Like, it was just so, like,
right.
It was almost elementary school stuff.
Yeah,
like how,
I mean, they had to get an offensive tackle at that time, and instead you're going to receivers.
I mean, Andrew Luck can only bail your ass out. I mean, he took teams that had no business being in the playoffs to 3 straight 11-5 seasons in his rookie season, sophomore season, and his third season. I mean, those teams were not playoff teams. Look at that defense. They had no defense, no running game, no offensive line. All they had was Andrew Luck and Adam Vinatieri.
Right. And, I mean, literally, I mean, for Luck, I mean, I wish he would have had a longer career, but when you're taking the amount of beatings that he was taking every given Sunday, I mean, come on.
That was like the old Roman Coliseum every single game. And up until his final season, he had an offensive line and he played an MVP caliber. And then he gets injured again and he's like, he told himself, and he played through pain all through 2016. And he said, if I'm put in this situation again where I have to play during pain, I'm going to retire. He told himself that in 2016. If there's a situation right where training camp starts or at the end of preseason, and I'm putting myself at even more risk of playing through pain, I'm retiring. He told himself that in 2016, and it became a reality in 2019. Like, he came off a season where he threw 39 touchdowns to 10 interceptions in 2018, and then was done. He had his first year of his prime, and he called it. He was done.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I remember watching a couple games with him, and he was getting beat up on. I don't know who they were playing, but it was brutal to watch.
The worst game I ever saw was the Browns-Colts 2014.
Where that's where Ryan Grigson's a senior advisor now with the Browns.
Oh my God, I'm surprised. He should not have a job anywhere. He should be on the street. He should be on the streets with like a little change cup, being like, "You guys got any change for me? I'm poor. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot that ruined Andrew Luck's life. Probably gave Andrew Luck CTE.
Probably the biggest
change.
Probably the final nail in the coffin, which is probably the most notorious, was trading a first-round pick for Trent fucking Richardson.
Oh, God.
Don't even get me started with that.
That was one of the worst moves that any team could have ever made.
I remember my 7th grade self, I was on my parents' laptop, and then I see it pop up, and I'm like, this is not real. Like, I was so against it from the start. I'm like, Trent Richardson from last year, who, I mean, he was okay his rookie year, but he's coming into a sophomore season. We traded a first rounder. I'm like, but in the back of my mind, I knew, like, this is Cleveland in 2013. They're going to mess this first round pick up. So it might go either way. Right. And it did. We traded a first rounder for Trent Richardson, and that first rounder turned into Justin Gilbert.
Actually, so it was Johnny Manziel.
It wasn't Johnny?
It was Johnny Manziel.
Okay, so mediocrity for mediocrity right there. Point is, I mean, that was just horrible. That was just terrible. And now, I mean, at one point, 2014, the year they made the AFC Championship, the running backs were Trent Richardson and Dan Herron.
Oh, God.
Talk about no running game.
Right. And even looking back at some of the history with it, I mean, the whole trade first came up because Vic Ballard was injured at the time. And
he was a solid rookie. He was a solid rookie. I forgot about him.
Yeah. So basically with that, what happened, I mean, Richardson in his first play as a Colt, he ended up scoring a touchdown against the 49ers. But basically after that, I mean, he ended up splitting time with Ahmad Bradshaw, which, I mean, he was a good running back in his time.
I liked Bradshaw. Yeah, he was solid.
Yeah, and then what ends up happening is then, of course, fast forward to 2015, and the Colts ended up waiving Richardson, so they only got him for like 2 years.
Yeah, they gave him way too much time. I would have given him 6 months. I would have bought his sorry ass out.
Yeah. So then, of course, Oakland, of all teams at the time, they gave him a 2-year, $3.85 million contract with $600,000 guaranteed, and then he ended up getting released, like
Terrible.
literally, like not even 5 months after. And then, of course, he ends up signing with Baltimore, and he got cut. So then,
Yeah, I
he's
remember the Raiders cut Richardson to bring in Maurice Jones-Drew.
right. And then, of course, after that, Richardson was done because he went to Saskatchewan with the CFL. And then and then get this, his career fell so bad he went to the AAF and he actually signed with Birmingham.
With the Iron. Yep, I remember that. I remember watching him for a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, Trent, what are you doing here, man?
right.
Like, the AAF is like the epitome of bad.
Yeah,
I thought the CFL was bad, but the AAF
was really bad. I mean, and that league actually ended up folding in April of 19 because nobody watched it.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Nobody watched the CFL, let alone that.
It was the XFL Light edition. It was the light version of the XFL.
Yeah, the XFL at least is watchable. I mean,
Yeah.
more watchable than the CFL. I'll tell you that. XFL actually
Now,
has some decent stuff.
My question about the XFL is, are they keeping the same teams when they come back, like whenever they come back, or are they going to be expanding? Like, what's going on with what's Dwayne doing over there?
Well, I'll tell you what. I am a Guardians fan, but I'll tell you this: is they're probably going to keep all the teams. They're signing them to an extended contracts for certain their stadiums. They found out just about a month ago the Renegades are staying where they are. I forget the name of the stadium. They're staying in Dallas. And the Vipers are probably going to stay where they are as well. And then a few other teams are going to stay where
St.
they
Louis,
are.
probably St. Louis as well. Yeah.
St. Louis is staying put. New York is probably going to move out of MetLife and move to a smaller stadium with a smaller capacity.
Yeah.
LA.
They should actually play where the soccer team plays over there. New York Red Bulls FC.
Yeah, they're probably going to move there. And then you have the LA Wildcats, who they could move to San Diego. I've heard this, that they might move to San Diego.
Nice.
And
they can play SoFi if they wanted to. That'd be pretty damn sweet.
Most expensive NFL stadium ever built with it dual-sided scoreboard. It's only like biggest one ever built.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's really nuts.
I want to see like some of the AAF teams come into the XFL, like bring the Fleet in there, the San Diego Fleet to the XFL, or the Birmingham Iron into the XFL, or what was the other team? Like I can look it up right now, but those teams were trash.
Right. Yeah. And actually the Renegades are going to be playing in the old Globe Life Park, which was of course home to the Texas Rangers. They are actually refitting it for football only.
Yeah. What was I going to say? So what are your thoughts on the Super Bowl this year, Trevor?
Super Bowl, like that's tough because the AFC is just like off the charts talented this year. The Colts are 11-5 with the 7 seed. Okay, that's how talented it is. I can tell you one thing: if the Bills beat the Colts, I'm going to be pulling for Buffalo heavy, just so they can break that Buffalo curse, and maybe it's like the floodgates will open after that. And if it's not Buffalo, then it's Cleveland. I'm pulling for the Brownies heavy. If the Bills don't win it all. Super Bowl predictions, though, I want to say Drew Brees in his final season goes in the NFC.
Yeah.
So it'll be the Saints. I'll put the Saints in there. And then in the AFC, fuck it, Buffalo. Buffalo versus New Orleans, yeah.
Okay.
That's my pick. That was my pick.
That would be a sweet matchup, honestly. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I said Bills Packers.
It'd be a shootout. It would be an absolute shootout.
Yeah, and I've always liked Drew Brees as a quarterback. I mean, especially from the San Diego days and what he did in New Orleans. I mean, he did a lot of great stuff in his career.
Oh, I have all the respect in the world for Brees. I just hate the fucking guy because he destroyed the Panthers so much over the years.
Yeah, him and Alvin Kamara combined.
Because a thorn in the fucking side every time. I'm like, Brees, I love you, man. You're a legend, but fuck off.
Yeah, but
like,
Brees, I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer, I think.
Could you guys imagine what would happen if the 2004 draft went the way it did? Rivers plays for the Giants, Eli plays for the Chargers. What comes out of that? Like, does Rivers dethrone the 18-1 Patriots? Like, do they even get there? Or what do the Chargers do? The Chargers win their first Super Bowl? Like,
Right.
That 04 draft was some of the craziest stuff in terms of quarterbacks exchanges in the first round I've ever seen.
By far.
Yeah, seriously was. But at least we didn't have a Ryan Leaf sighting afterwards. So.
Oh God. Oh.
One of the biggest all-time busts ever in NFL history.
Him, Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Leaf is up there for sure. You can even say Manziel is up there. Jamarcus Russell. Maybe Marcus Mariota, Dwayne Haskins. Maybe Jameis Winston. Didn't Jameis Winston go first overall?
Yeah, Winston went first overall in 2015 to the Bucks, and then they gave him 5 years, and then he went to New Orleans to be behind Drew Brees.
Yep.
He's a bust.
Weren't we talking about Dwayne Haskins earlier, but comeback player of the year?
Well, when we were talking about the comeback player of the year and how Dwayne Haskins got released.
He already shot his career like going to Ohio State as a quarterback. You already shot your career right there. You already sealed up your fate going to Ohio State, going to the NFL.
Right. Or how about another bust, Cleo Lemon?
Oh my God, forgot about him. Jeez.
His last name.
Cleo Lemon.
You gotta watch.
What about Robert Griffin III?
Oh God, I remember.
Oh boy.
I blame that on Mike Shanahan.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally
Mike
blame it on Mike
Shanahan's an
Shanahan. With
idiot.
that one playoff game and he blows his knee out.
And Jay Gruden. Jay Gruden's an idiot too.
Oh, Jay Gruden's
John Gruden's an idiot also.
I got a name for you.
Yeah.
Nathan Peterman.
Oh, snap.
How about this one? Joey Harrington.
Oh God. No, I got one. Ray Caruth.
I don't even know that. I
I've
don't
never
even know.
heard of that name before.
Okay, let me put it this way. Ray Caruth was a first-round pick in the 90s as a wide receiver by the Panthers, and he was accused of murder.
Shut the fuck up.
Right.
Oh God.
Oh man.
What about AJ Feely or Jake Plummer?
Oh God, Jake.
Jake Plummer's a fucking high rate bust.
Right. Then of course, Trevor, you know about this one, Curtis Painter.
Curtis Painter. He was a local guy, man. Like he was an okay quarterback. He went to Purdue, so he was like super local to Indianapolis.
Right.
Just outside of the city. He was a Purdue guy. And then he freaking gets drafted in like, what was it, round 3, round 4 maybe?
Yeah.
And he was just a backup role his entire career. He would show up to practices like hung over.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was horrible.
Right.
He went 0-9 in his career start as a starter. Never won.
Oh, jeez. Although, actually, Bobby, you and Trevor would remember this guy too. Remember Hefty Lefty, Jared Lawrenson?
He's dead.
Oh.
Yeah. He was 6'4",
Oh,
315 when he died. He was 285 in the league. And what ends up happening is he played with the New York Giants after he had 4 seasons. He played for Kentucky, obviously, in college. But basically, he ended up backing up Eli Manning and Tim Hasselbeck. So that's how much he sucked in the NFL. Then, of course, Indy waived him. And you want to know what his career NFL statistics were? This is like one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Like garbage times garbage times garbage.
Yeah. 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 28 passing yards in his career, and a passer rating of 58.3.
What a beast. What a beast. That's like a Super Bowl MVP.
If we're talking about draft busts, how about this one? And I'm sure Adam remembers him.
Yeah.
Kelvin Benjamin.
Oh, God.
Oh boy.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Captain Fat Fuck. The leader of men.
Oh. And even, one thing I forgot to put in about Lawrenson, minus 51 rushing yards when he was at Kentucky.
Oy.
Oh, my God.
I will never forget the video Sean made like 4 years ago when the Bills traded for Benjamin from the Panthers, and he was like, "Oh my gosh!" And he was in his bed. He's like, "I gotta go to sleep, but holy crap, the Bills got Kelvin freaking Benjamin."
Yeah, that was my bad.
You're bad.
If it makes you feel any better, I was jumping up and down when the Colts signed Frank Gore and Andre Johnson, and that didn't turn out very well. So you're not the only one.
Well, Frank Gore was actually
How
pretty
you
good.
doing, Trevor? You jacking yourself
Well,
up?
I just thought of another bust.
No, I'm moving to a different room. Hang on.
Yeah. I just thought of another bust.
What?
Carlos Williams.
Oh God, yes. Yeah. In case you're wondering, I'm actually writing up a list of top 5 Boston Panthers history, and Kelvin Benjamin, just so happens to be one of those players.
Will Greer.
Yeah. Jimmy Clausen.
Jimmy.
Oh man.
Oh my
How about this
God.
one? Tim Couch, first overall in '99.
Oh, fuck that.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
Dude, Tim
He was
Couch,
the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
he didn't even have a chance. Like, his O-line was, like, worse than Andrew Luck's. Like, I don't really blame it on him, but he didn't have a fucking shot.
Right. Or Mike Williams, the wide receiver out of USC.
Oh, God.
Well,
Wait, I got a couple. Hey, I got a couple Buffalo ones.
Yeah.
go ahead.
Eric Flowers.
Eric
Yeah,
Flowers.
he was a bust.
Wait,
Eric
Flowers, the lineman?
Your worst picks: Mike Williams in 2002.
Right.
Oh God. Anybody? I got one. Aaron Maven.
Yeah, I never liked him.
J.P. Lozman.
Oh God.
If we're talking about Bills picks, Rob Johnson.
Oh.
Yo, I got a couple ones for the Indianapolis
the Music
Colts.
City Miracle he was responsible for.
John McCargo, 2006.
Oh, yeah.
I got a couple for Indy. Hank Baskett.
Oh God.
Freaking Bjorn Werner.
Yeah, he had no career.
He was horrible. They drafted a dude out of Germany.
Oh.
Hey, what about fucking Maben for the Bills?
Yeah, I said that. Aaron Maven.
Right.
Here's another one. Trent Edwards.
Trent
God.
Edwards. Oh my
That dude
God.
had more concussions than like most QBs, except for EJ Manuel, who ended up being a bust.
Oh, AJ Manuel. That's right. No, I got one. Stephon Gilmore. Oh shit.
Oh, wait, no.
He's Toast.
He's 99 overall in Madden because the NFL sucks off the Patriots' cock every single chance they have.
Yeah.
That's the joke, Trevor. That's the joke.
Gilmore.
Oh God, Stephon Gilmore. If only he was good on the Bills, then he would have been on here. But nope.
He's not a 99 overall on anything. I'm sorry.
He's not. He's overrated as shit.
Not
Right.
even close.
If he played with if it was a team like the Atlanta Falcons, he would not be 99 overall in anything.
Right.
No, he wouldn't be.
Well, here's another one. If we're looking at some of the Bills' like worst draft picks, how about when Trent Edwards was around? Anyone remember Brian Brom?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I do. Oh man. I had high hopes for him, man.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah, and then of course, I mean, EJ Manuel we talked about. Then also remember when we had 2018 how we had 4 QBs and Derek Anderson was actually on the roster.
First Colts game where Derek Anderson got the start.
Yeah, but
here's one.
Yeah.
Jeff Toole, or was he already drafted before
Full time.
Buffalo?
Oh God, Toole was.
How about this one? This one takes the cake, okay? He may have gone undrafted, but I don't give a fuck. Boobie Dixon.
Yeah.
Boobie Dixon. That's
Oh.
right. Boobie Dixon.
Right.
The running back. He was on the 49ers when they played the Ravens in the Super Bowl.
Anthony Dixon, was that his real name? But his nickname was Boobie?
Yes, that one. And he played for the Bills.
Right. There's actually a decent one that I can tell you about. Remember back 1997, the New Orleans Saints ended up drafting Danny Werfel.
Oh God, Danny Warfel. Wait, isn't he a coach?
I think he is now.
Not in the NFL.
But he was one of those who won the Heisman Trophy, and then he ended up leading the Gators to their first national championship. But then the only thing he did in his pro career was being MVP of the World Bowl when he played with the Rhein Fire in NFL Europe.
I was going to say, I have another one. Tim Tebow.
Jacksonville Jaguars, Blake Bortles.
Boy.
Oh,
Blaine Gabbert.
Hey, okay, I got one. I got one that made Carolina for 1 year. This guy, when they drafted him, Jimmy Clausen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
He was drafted 2nd overall in 2010, number 48 overall. But we went 2-14 that season, but we drafted Cam Newton the next year.
Yep.
That should solidify it.
Remember this running back Tim Biakabatuka, who was drafted out of Michigan, and he ended up having like over 1,800 yards in 1995. But then in his 6 seasons in NFL, he had less than 500 yards a season.
Oh God, that's horrible.
Hell?
Are you drinking a beer?
Yep, Yingling.
Nice.
See it.
Right.
Here's
See
one.
it.
You're
Brady
sponsoring
Quinn.
Bud Light. You're not even drinking Bud Light.
Because I'm not cheap as fuck. I just found this as a cool background.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like Bud Light, so
Bud Light.
It's cheap.
Yeah.
It's cheap stuff, but it's good stuff. I mean, the Yingling's like the pricey stuff over here in Buffalo.
So it's like watered down water.
What? No way. If
Dude.
anything's water, it's any type of light beer.
I'm just saying, like a Canadian beer compared to American beer is like.
Yeah, it's like fucking gold.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, if you want a really cheap liquor, just buy a bottle of Mad Dog 2020 and like.
Jesus Christ, no.
That's the definition of cheap alcohol, street wine.
Dude, there was a fucking wine growing up, like back in Canada. Like they had, actually it was a Newfie thing, and it was called Kelly's wine.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically supposed to be a table wine for like meals and shit, but it was disgusting, and it got you fucked up. It was so bad.
Oh jeez.
You get fucked up on like some of that expensive shit too.
Right.
Fucking Captain Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Captain Morgan's great.
Or you could go really, or if you want to go really cheap, buy a bottle of Old English 800 or Colt 45.
Colt 45. We're not okay. No.
That's brutal. Although actually in Pittsburgh, their beer, Iron City beer, that's like absolute sewer water.
Oh, there's one beer in Newfoundland you can buy. It's called Maximum Ice. It's literally like, I think it's like 8.1% per bottle or something like that.
Oh, nice.
How about Molson Triple X?
That stuff's good. I've had it before.
Yeah.
Can't get it.
Labatt Ice, well, if you buy it on the Canadian side of the border, it's got more alcohol than the American version of it.
Oh, of course it does.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Better beer.
We're looking a bunch of fucking drunks. That's all we do.
Yeah. Oh, God. Here we go. One of the biggest busts of all time, Brady Quinn.
oh God, I remember that.
Oh,
So looking at him, so of course Cleveland drafted him as a QB in 2007 because of course they were horrible with Tim Couch and everybody else. But he breaks 36 school records at Notre Dame. What ends up happening, he basically does absolutely zero in Cleveland and basically loses the battle of Derek Anderson.
God.
Jesus Christ, you know you're bad win.
How about this one? 2005, Arizona Cardinals select Antrell Roll.
Oh, I remember Anton Roll.
Okay.
Over fucking Aaron Rodgers, they take Antrell Roll.
Oh my God, what a bad choice.
Yeah. You think that's bad? Remember Jamarcus Russell, who went first overall to the Raiders? You know who the next pick was after that? Fucking Megatron.
Oh my God.
oh.
That's like a big kick in the nuts right there.
Really?
What was Jamarcus Russell, an LSU quarterback? I think it was LSU.
Yeah.
In 2007, first overall to the Raiders. And then right after that was Calvin Johnson, who went second overall by the Lions.
God.
Right.
God. One of the
Oh, by the
Lions.
way, speaking of quarterbacks, I think Indianapolis should go after Stafford, man. He's way underrated.
I like Matthew Stafford, but like, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people call him elite. And I'm like, how do you call a quarterback elite? Like any team that goes 5-11, your quarterback cannot be
Yeah,
elite.
but if you can win 5 games with Detroit, it makes you elite.
Yeah, I think that Detroit has a solid receiving core. The only thing that scares me is like just Stafford breaking down because he has a solid receiving core. He's got solid tight end, and they just can't win football games. And it's kind of a stain on Matthew Stafford's part. But like, I mean, I'd rather have a Stafford than a Matt Ryan or something like that. I'd rather just bring back Phil for a year and draft a quarterback.
Right.
Well, what do you think, like, in your opinion, Trevor, who do you think would be the best collegiate quarterback entering this draft would be the best option for the Colts?
Legion quarterback. You definitely have to go round one. So like, there's no like Sam Ellingers or Mac Jones. If you need like, I like Zach Wilson. I know that realistically the Colts will not get Lawrence or Justin Fields because if they lose on Sunday, I believe or on Saturday, the Colts get the 19th overall pick. So,
and chances are high that could very well happen.
The most realistic choice is that they either get a Trey Lance or a Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson is the guy to get out of BYU.
Well, if you're lucky, maybe the Colts can trade up.
I don't think the Carolina Panthers, if they had the chance, would pass over Zach Wilson. I really don't.
They might get Trey Lance.
No, don't want him. Zach Wilson or nothing.
Trey Lance, I'd be happy with either or.
You should see the conversation I had with him earlier with Nick Caserio because he was interviewed for the job as the GM for the Panthers and instead took a 6-year extension with the Houston Texans.
How about that? A ruined fucking franchise. You know what would be sweet if the Colts can get Deshaun Watson as their franchise quarterback. You know how sweet that would be?
Yeah, Sean's going to bounce, guys. He just messaged everybody.
Tomorrow.
Sean,
Y'all have a good night. Everybody watching, have a good night. And let's get ready for Saturday, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. Y'all take care.
Peace out.
Yeah, and just want to say real quick before we move on, I am going to be having a PSA meeting at 12:30 on Saturday for the Bills-Colts game. So, like you, Adam, Trevor, you guys can all join in through Zoom. I'm going to have my computer right next up to my TV. We can all watch the game together, but you would also have to have the TV next to you as well in your side of the view. So we'll have like a little view together party.
I'm actually going to be at work until 3 p.m., so I might miss the first 3 quarters.
That sucks.
Yeah. I don't know. It maybe not. I might miss the Colts getting their ass beat, so maybe it's not all bad.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, how about that?
I mean, could always
Just
be
drink a
worse.
few extra beers and just call in sick, bud.
Yeah, there you go.
Could be. Good.
Yeah.
No, I'm sick.
Could be
I'm
like
sick.
Jacksonville when they drafted Reggie Williams and he had more arrests than touchdowns for his career.
Or Justin Blackman.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus Christ. Come on, man. You can't argue with the fact that one Panthers player had a murder charge.
Right. Although, if you want to talk about quarterbacks getting totally beat up in their entire time, how about David Carr when the Texans drafted him in their first year?
Dude, David Carr or Dwight Freeney's bitch?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my
76
God.
sacks his first year he ended up taking.
Dude, I bet you 50 of those were from Dwight Freeney.
Yeah, probably. Right. Of course,
Oh my
Harrington was
God.
on the list, so we know about that. But just like going through, surprisingly, actually, Alex Smith is rated as one of the worst draft picks of all time. But
I don't see that. I think he's just been screwed with bad injuries and just bad teams around him. I mean, I think it was cut and dry that he was going to go first overall in 05. And then, I mean, I don't know what the freaking deal was with Aaron Rodgers, but it went Alex Smith, Ronnie Brown, Braylon Edwards, Cedric Benson, Cadillac Williams. So freaking Alex Smith, the quarterback, went first, then 3 running backs and a wide receiver.
Right.
Over Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nobody thought Rodgers was going to be that good at the time.
Anyone remember when we had Kevin Cobb as a backup QB for EJ Manuel?
Kevin Cobb, I remember him.
Yeah.
Remember Tavares Jackson?
Oh, God,
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember,
God bless his soul, though.
being at Kevin Cobb's last ever game as a Bill because he ended up getting a concussion, and that's when EJ Manuel came in.
Oh, God, EJ Manuel.
Remember Kyle Orton?
Yeah.
Kyle Orton, yeah.
The worst quarterback in the red zone I've ever seen?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Here you go. 10th overall, 2006 in the NFL draft, Matt Leinart.
Unreal.
Hey, Bobby, you remember Tyrod Taylor?
Yes, I remember Tyrod Taylor.
Who doesn't remember Ty Taylor?
Yeah, and the funny thing is he goes to Cleveland to be a starter, and then he ends up getting dethroned by Baker Mayfield.
And then he goes to LA to become a starter, and his doctor punctures his own lung.
Yeah.
Oh,
God, I remember that.
Yeah,
Like, you gotta be kidding me right now. That's ridiculous.
Wasn't that just from him just like holding a clipboard?
I think it
It
was.
something insane, but I'm like, how do you puncture your own lung?
Tyrod's soft. I guess that's what it is.
Right.
He has really bad luck, or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Tyrod's softer than baby shit.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man.
And everybody knows the baby shit is soft, and it's green, and it's gross, and disgusting.
Yeah, right. So.
But you know what? I mean, you want to know who else went before Aaron Rodgers in 05? I'm looking at 05 right now. DeMarcus Ware.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Sean Merriman went after DeMarcus Ware. You guys remember Sean Merriman?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't?
He went 12th overall to the San Diego Chargers. And then David Pollock, like who are these people? Marcus Spears, Matt Jones, Mark Clayton, Fabian Washington, and then finally Rodgers got picked at 24. And then Jason Campbell got picked 25th right after Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. And then following that would be Roddy White, Luis Castillo, Marlon Jackson, Heath Miller, Matt Patterson, and Logan Mankins. So it wasn't entirely that bad afterwards.
Right.
Jason Campbell. I forgot about his career was ruined by just garbage around him too.
Yeah, he had a little offensive line around him.
He had some talent, but he got sent to the Raiders, and that was just that ruined him. That ruined him.
Yeah.
He was okay in Washington with like Randall L and guys like that, and Portis, and I don't know if it was Portis. Maybe it was Alfred Morris back then, and Santana Moss was good.
Morris was there. Yeah.
Were they still playing in HFK back then? I know that they had FedEx.
Or RFK, yeah. I think they were like finishing up because I know FedEx opened, I think, in like the early 2000s or something.
Yeah, I think they closed RFK in 05, maybe. They played their last game there was a baseball game, I think.
Yeah, the Nationals were using it until they moved to Nationals Park, and then RFK reopened for Washington's soccer team, and now they moved out and they play at Audi Field, which was built for them.
It's abandoned, right? It's still there. It's just abandoned.
Yeah, no one's there now.
Wow. Because you can't tear that down. There's just so much history in that building.
Right. Well, plus it's all national parkland too. So I mean that makes it even more difficult. But of course, then what happened is that the Washington No Names wanted to build a new stadium there, but then of course Congress is like, well, you have to get rid of the Redskins name in order to allow for us to even consider it. So.
And here we are.
I didn't believe that they were going to change their name at all.
I didn't think the Cleveland Indians were going to until recently either.
That's ridiculous. I mean, the movie Major League is just not even like relevant anymore.
Right.
That was about rebuilding the Cleveland Indians, not the Cleveland baseball team.
Right, exactly. I mean, hell, I even have seen that movie A League of Their Own a few times, and I mean, there's been some crazy names in there, but it's like you actually had team names in there.
Well, for Washington, like I didn't think it was going to happen. I just didn't think it was going to happen until I got the alert on my phone that said Amazon is going to stop selling Washington Redskins stuff. I'm like, they're gonna change their name. I thought they were gonna figure out something and not stick with football team.
And they just decided to keep football team.
They might switch it up next year. I'm thinking like Washington Warriors. That might sound pretty cool.
Yeah.
If they do that next year, that sounds pretty cool.
Right. Well, it's like in the NBA when the Washington Bullets had to change their name to the Washington Wizards.
That's right, because I'm not even going to go to the political route, but apparently, like, guns are not good in basketball.
Oh, just so many fucking snowflakes, man. That's the problem. That's the reason the Redskins had to fucking take their name down, because people are like, oh, God, that's the offense of the Indians and blah, blah, blah.
Right, or the Cleveland Indians, or even the Florida State Seminoles have gotten
What about the Cleveland Browns? Like, fuck off, man. Like, it's a goddamn name.
Well, actually, the Cleveland Brown name is named after Paul Brown, who was the original owner.
Yep.
Right.
But a snowflake could be like, oh, well, that's racist.
Or the Chicago White Sox.
Right. Yeah.
Or the Boston Red Sox.
Red Sox.
Yeah. True story, actually, not even sports related. So down in Atlanta, they have a subway system, and what happened is that they had a line called the Yellow Line. That was termed racist by some Asian people, so they had to rename it the Gold Line.
Oh, give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break.
But yet, in Washington, D.C., the Yellow Line is still called the Yellow Line.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah. Until somebody finally takes a fucking stand, they're not just going to bow down to every fucking political thing that pops up in their fucking head.
Right. Exactly.
But you know what? Like there comes a matter of time when Chicago Blackhawks have to change their name, and that's going to be ridiculous.
I don't think they ever will, though. I don't think they will.
I don't
They
think so
already
either.
refused it. They already refused it. They already been told to fucking change their name or authorize it. They should probably change their name, and they're just like, no, man, we're not changing our fucking name.
Or
Yeah.
this summer, they're thinking about changing the Texas Ranger name because it refers to racist cops back in the day.
It's like, oh, come on.
I'm like, oh my
Texas
God.
Rangers were literally like patriots that protected the land. They weren't fucking people that like
Exactly.
were racist.
There are Rangers in every state.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas even has a law enforcement
You're-
agency called the Rangers.
If you're a ranger, you're a government official. You weren't a fucking racist.
Right. Yeah. It's nuts. But yeah, the two biggest NFL draft busts of all time, according to Bleacher Report, is Jamarcus Russell was number 2, which was considered the number worst since Ryan Leaf.
Trent Richardson. Oh, Ryan Leaf. Okay.
He actually, surprisingly, Trent Richardson didn't even make this top 50 list I was looking at.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Because I don't think they counted it because he didn't play his rookie contract, his full rookie contract with Cleveland.
Right.
He ended up traded.
Yeah. But the funny thing is with Jamarcus Russell, he ended up making $36 million for doing absolutely nothing. And then Ryan Leaf, I still consider him one of the absolute worst ever. And what ended up happening is that a lot of people thought he was better than Peyton Manning. Well, that never happened because he ended up in his career 13 touchdowns, 33 interceptions, and he was out of the league by 2002. Then he ended up serving time in prison.
So they took out Jamarcus Russell. The Raiders benched him to put in Kyle Bowler. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they benched him and they traded for Jason Campbell.
Right. And then they got rid of Jason Campbell not that long after either.
Man, that Raiders team. And
I'll tell you an interesting draft, okay? So in 2011, when the Panthers drafted Cam Newton first overall, first pick, the Sabres picked Marcel Darius.
Sabres.
Oh.
Or the Bills, sorry. The Bills.
Yeah.
Marcel
I
Darius.
actually met Marcel Darius once.
And
I love how you mentioned this.
the Colts took Anthony Castanzo or Castanzo.
Anthony Costanzo. Yeah, he's the left tackle right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what he took in 2011. He's still there. Oh well.
Yep. He's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of fucking interesting names.
I love how you mentioned the Sabres though by accident because I gotta tell you guys something. In 2009, guess who we took over Derek Stepan when he was available?
Oh, Zach Cassian.
Zach fucking Cassian.
What a fucking dumb.
Zach Cassian.
2007, the worst draft year in Sabres history. We took TJ Brennan over PK Subban.
That was stupid right off the bat. I mean, everybody knew what Subban could do, and I would have want him on this team now even.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't care what anybody says, though. I don't care what anybody says that the worst fucking pick in my mind was Toronto jumping over Rask.
Fucking Rask.
The Leafs jumped Rask, and I was just like, oh god, what the fuck? Oh, and Raycroft.
Right.
That's possible.
Oh my god, Jesus. Raycroft, I forgot about him. God.
Yeah, Andrew Raycroft.
Oh yeah, he was such a. That's the reason we didn't get Rask was because of that fucking bum.
If we're talking about Leafs draft bust, how about Tyler Biggs?
Oh Jesus Christ! The list can go on and on and on.
Right. Or remember when Toronto got rid of the Sundin twins?
I remember that. Yep. I was a young age of 7.
Yeah. And then they went on to have a great career in Vancouver.
That was something else, man.
Dude, Harold Ballard made so many bad choices back in the day. It's why the Leafs are where they are.
What about there's a whole laundry list of Sabres rejects that went to the Leafs. Clark MacArthur, Tim Connolly, Jimmy Vesey, freaking Zach Bogosian. Like, who do we have? Who else? Wayne Simmons is there now. My God, like they took all our fucking garbage.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like they just took like Wayne Simmons is a player that he's not going to put up a lot of points, but he's a physical presence.
He's definitely
And
physical.
it's something that any team could utilize.
Bogosian is just like a fucking pylon that we need.
Who gets hurt and like misses like 50 games a
We
season.
don't believe me, man. We don't expect anything out of Bogosian.
Yeah, he's
Same with Jimmy Vesey. We don't expect shit out of the guy. It's just
Right.
to fill in the spot when we need the fill spot.
He's just brutal.
God.
I mean,
If our line stay healthy, man, that Canadian division is all Leafs, man. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, I mean, remember when Tim Murray ended up throwing away that draft pick for the rights of Jimmy Vesey, and then he never signed here.
Oh God.
That was the stupidest thing ever. The Jimmy Vesey sweeps.
You're blowing a draft pick that you could use to bring somebody in or leverage it to actually get a better player. I'm like, why are you throwing it away for exclusive negotiation rights when Jimmy Vesey didn't want to be here?
Then when Jimmy Vesey said, "I don't want to be a savior," dude, you fucking suck. You're not going to be a savior on any team. Like, the Rangers were putting you on the third line. You're not a savior in any fucking city.
He's over entitled little cunt.
Yeah, he's a little bastard. Nobody likes him. Nobody likes fucking Jimmy Vesey.
When I heard at a training camp that like there's a video of Leafs training camp and it was like Jimmy Vesey was over in the corner like by himself, like none of the players want to like be around him or anything. Like he's in a bad spot.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah.
He was spending most of his time with just skating next to Jack Eichel the whole time. Now he's got to find somebody to ride the coattails with in Toronto. Probably something like Austin Matthews or something like that. I have no idea.
Oh, he can't even ride his coattails. He wouldn't catch up to his socks.
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, Matthews is a beast. Marner's a beast. I mean, all they have to do is get past the first round. But for whatever reason, like they had their back on a couple
Our
years.
reason we didn't get past the first round, man, is just Boston. And now Boston's gone. So
Dude, fuck Boston. Fuck Boston.
Boston was our Achilles heel, though, man. Like they fucking destroyed us. Not that they destroyed us, but they owned us in the playoffs.
That's the team that I hate the most in the NHL. Absolutely despise the Boston Bruins.
Now you got to deal with them.
Hey, Bobby, I just sent you something in the chat you could always throw up on the screen if you wanted to.
Is it a picture of your dick?
No.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I was hammered with Danny Gare in the Party 10 on New Year's Eve 2012.
How the hell did you meet Danny Gare while you were drunk?
It was a Tux and Pucks night. He was actually in the tent, and I was probably about 5 beers deep at that point.
Figures.
Oh, that's like breakfast.
I know.
Nice.
It was all good, too.
Hey, you want to know what Toronto's number one pick ever was?
Yeah, what's up?
Wendell Clark.
Scott Thornton.
Scott Thornton.
Wow, okay.
Holy God, I forgot about Scott Thornton.
Yeah.
He's literally the worst pick that the Leafs ever made.
I was going to say Wendell Clark just as a joke, but then you would probably get really wound up.
Well, we all know Wendell Clark wasn't a boss. Just shut the fuck up.
Who's the worst pick the Sabres have made in the past 10 years? I have mine. I have my pick, and that's Mikhail Grigorenko.
Me?
Yeah, he's a fucking useless cunt.
I'm going to say my worst draft pick is Marek Zagrapan.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I got one for you, Bobby. Jack Eichel.
What about Jack Eichel?
Jack Eichel's like one of the only good players.
I know. I'm being sarcastic.
Did you see that Skinner fucking fell down, tripped on nothing, tripped on an invisible rope today?
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know if he got hurt or he was fucking around. I don't know what he was doing.
Probably just fucking. Yeah, I seen the video. It looks like he's fucking around.
How about Zemgus Girgensons out for the year when we could have fucking signed Dominic Cahoon this whole fucking time and let his punk ass go? God.
Yeah,
Well,
we talked about that. Actually, that was one of the first things in the show today. After we talked about John Muckler passing away, but I mean, hamstring surgery.
We could have signed Cahoon to $1 million.
Right.
Dude, it's a big loss for you guys when it comes to Phil, though.
Right.
Zemgus Girgensons fucking sucks. We got to call up R2 Ruotsalainen, if you guys know who that prospect is.
Yes, I know.
Actually, good prospects.
Call him up for the fourth line.
I have a better one. Why don't you just sign Wiley Sheehan? He's on a PTO after all.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, put me out there. I'm better than Gergensons.
Right.
Put you in, you're better than Jurgens. Oh my god.
I'm at least a little bit faster than Gergensons. That fucker can't skate.
Mm-hmm.
What he is like fucking. How big is the fucking guy? He's like a fucking horse.
He's bigger than your dick.
He's big, but
Oh my god, if my dick is half as big as him, I'll be okay.
he's big, but he can't skate for shit. He's so fucking slow.
Right.
Yeah, almost reminds me of Rats and Ristolainen.
We should have got rid of him 3 years ago.
Oh yeah.
God.
Don't worry, we'll take him off your hand for a low price of nothing.
No, we'll end up giving him to Tampa Bay, and then they'll win 2 more Stanley Cups. That's how the Sabres roll.
Mm-hmm. Right. How about this is one of the worst draft picks ever? It was in 2015th overall pick in the first round, Artem Kryukov.
I don't
Wait,
even know
who?
who that is.
Yeah, Artem Kryukov. So basically, he was drafted, of course, by Darcy Regier at the time, and we drafted him 15th. He never played an NHL game. Not even a preseason game. He never came to the NHL.
How about fucking Darcy?
On top of it, he never even played in the minors. He stayed in the KHL.
Wonderful.
How about Braden McNabb? How about Darcy trading away Braden McNabb?
Yeah. But here's
Yeah,
something
that's
interesting
bad.
for you guys. So when we ended up picking Artem Kryukov in 2000, you want to know what the next picks were? Brooks Orpik, Steve Vaughn, Justin
Oh my
Williams,
god.
and Nicholas Kronwall.
Oh my lord.
You think?
I would have taken any one of those 4 over Kryukov.
Especially Brooks Orpik, a guy who grew up in Amherst, New York.
Right. It's like, how do you pass up a Brooks Orpik or a Steve Ott? Now, Ott eventually ended up here with
Derek
coming
Roy
over.
trade.
And then, of course, we ended up trading him to St. Louis with the Ryan Miller deal. But, I mean, to pass up Brooks Orpik or a Kronwall?
You think this is bad? How about this trade from 1991? The Devils traded what's his face? The Leafs. The Leafs got Tom Curvers from the New Jersey Devils for a first-round pick in 1991, and that first-round pick was the 3rd overall, which turned into Scott Niedermayer.
Oh my God.
Oh.
I'll tell you, because the Leafs back in the day didn't make the smartest fucking choices when it comes to drafting. We had management was so fucking dumb.
Right. Now, you guys mentioned the Marek Zagrapan pick earlier. You want to know who was right after Zagrapan? Martin Hansel, Jacob Kindle, Tuukka Rask, TJ Oshie, Andrew Cogliano, and Matt Niskanen, and James Neal.
We literally lost Rask. We could have drafted Rask that year.
We could have drafted Rask that year, goddammit, but we had Ryan Miller. We could have had we could have had so many players that would help out this. TJ Oshie and Brooks Orpik we passed on.
I mean, the Leafs could have fucking drafted Rask. We lost Rask in that fucking pick.
Yeah. Or even when we ended up drafting Zach Cashin back in 2009, the picks right after him, Dmitry Kulikov, Nick Leddy, Chris Kreider, Marcus Johansson, and Kyle Palmieri.
What about 2010? What about 2011? Yoel Armia.
Oh, Joel Armia, who still sucks?
Oh, God.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
I don't care. I still think the worst draft I've ever seen, like, in my mind, is 2012 and Neil Yakupov was drafted by the Oilers.
Oh, God.
He had one good game, and that was the first game of coming out of the lockout, and that was it.
Right.
Dude, it literally, and then like fucking Griffin Reinhart was just as bad.
Oh, God.
The
Yeah.
Gallagher.
Yeah. Or even
Nolan Patrick.
Yeah, another bust. But he had like fucking health problems, didn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here you go. 2006, when we ended up drafting 24th overall, we ended up picking Dennis Person. Yeah. Right after Person, the next pick, Patrick Berglund.
Oh my God,
He
dude.
sucks too.
You're right. But you had Patrick Berglund, Nick Foligno, and Michael Neuwirth, which Neuwirth didn't do a whole ton. And he eventually ended up here anyways.
But you had Berglund to pick from. You fucking picked that guy. Jesus.
I know. Right. Or even looking back at the 20th pick overall in 1999 when we ended up picking Barrett Heiston, which he never played anything. The picks right after him, Nick Boynton, Martin Havlat, which I would have him any day, or Jordan Leopold.
Oh God, are you kidding me?
Which eventually we ended up getting him, but I mean, when you have Boynton or Havlat right after Heiston, I'm picking one of those two right off the bat.
What about in freaking 2001 where the Sabres selected Yuri Novotny with their first round draft choice?
Oh, Jesus.
First round, 22nd overall. And the picks that went right after him, Marcel Gosch and Kobe Armstrong.
Wow.
Oh, my God. Hey, Bobby, what about Rick DiPietro, then?
Oh God, don't even get me started.
Yeah, that 15-year contract that they finally paid off.
You're still paying the guy.
Actually, this contract just ended this year.
Oh, my God, only 15 years later.
Who signed it? Was that Charles Wong that signed him, or was that Garth Snow, or what?
It's Garth Snow.
Garth Snow, he's such a generous guy.
Garth Snow's one of the biggest idiot GMs ever known to mankind.
No. The worst idiot GM in NHL history, to me, in the modern age, is Peter Chiarelli.
Yeah.
He is pretty dumb.
Yeah, try trading Adam Larson for Taylor Hall. How about trading Griffin Reinhart for Matt Barzell and Anthony Beauvillier? How about that?
That's a good
Tyler Sagan for Louis Erickson.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
How about trading Johnny Boychuk to the Islanders for draft capital, and then trading Tim Thomas?
God.
Wow.
What about 1999 Milan Bardovic? Who the hell is Doug Janik?
I remember
Doug Janik. Doug Janik is a fucking
Janik was irrelevant.
We selected Ryan Miller in the 5th round in 1999. He was our best pick.
By far.
He was our only good pick for a lot of years.
God, who the hell was Barrett Heiston?
He was a nobody. I don't even think he ever played an NHL game.
Oh my God. Yuri Novotny, number 1 draft choice. Keith Ballard, 2002, number 1 draft choice. Thomas Vanek in 03. Drew Stafford in 04. Marek Zagreb, the guy that we were talking about before. Dennis Persson, TJ
Brett. Yeah, and that first round pick was traded to Washington for Dinas Zubris.
God.
Right.
I literally looking at the fucking. Remember the fucking goal Patrick Stefan when he missed the open net?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh
God, yeah.
He had a seizure and he fell down and he fucking missed the open net. And I was like,
and then
what the
Edmonton
fuck
scores like 30 seconds after that.
Yeah.
It was like the end of his career right there. That was the end.
Hemsky netted that goal to tie it, and Stepan was just like, how did I miss an empty net
He just knew that his career was over.
What about Corey Schwab in 2007, 3rd round, 89th overall?
Yeah, he sucked.
Tyler Myers, Tyler Ennis, Luke Adam were our top 3 picks in 08.
Right. Now, here's the thing. Todd Myers with the Sabres only had one good season because after that, I mean, I'm like, he like lit it up and he was like one of the top defensemen. And I'm like, man, he took like a big fall from year 1 to year 2. And I know he was out part of the year because he had a broken leg, but still, I mean, how do you fall that far back, especially when you're in a defensive coach team?
One of the worst Sabres draft choices, Cal Peterson.
Oh God.
Oh God.
God, he was a
shit.
Right.
Zadorov. We could have him right now. Rasmus Ristolainen, JT Comfort, we could have him right now.
Yeah. Remember Corey Sarich?
Oh my God, he was a beast in Calgary, and then when he came to Buffalo, I think he only played a year or maybe a half a year.
Yeah.
He didn't get much done. We mostly used him for fighting.
Well, it's like what we did with Eric Bolton before he went to the Atlanta Thrashers at the time in the expansion draft.
Man, Corey Sarge was a
Cam Barker.
Cam Barker, that's right.
Yeah.
Rhett Warner.
I liked Rhett Warner.
He's a beast.
He was a good player.
In 2015, Jack Eichel, Brendan Gooley, Will Borgen were our top 3 picks.
Yeah, Gooley got traded. Eichel's a beast, of course. And then
Will Borgen still in the minors.
Isn't Devontae Stevens? It says 5th round, 122 overall. Is he still in Amherst?
No, he got traded to Tampa.
Oh, okay. Because I remember going to a couple Amerks games and Stevens was playing. He got drafted in
I
15.
was gonna say, wasn't he or somebody else like part of like a trade where, or was it like where Corey Conacher ended up just coming up from the Leafs, not the Leafs, from Tampa?
I don't remember.
I remember that one.
'Cause I know
Oh,
Conacher
what
was
about
up
this
there
one,
for a
guys?
little bit.
Biggest draft bust. I'm going to say it right here. Alex Nylander in the last 10 years.
Well, it wasn't that complete. Well, it wasn't a complete disaster because at least they got.
At least we got draft capital for it.
Yoki
Really?
Haru.
Big brother, is he, bud?
Well, I mean, at least they got Yoki Haru in that trade.
Right.
We
Helped a little bit.
Yoki Haru.
I would take that in a heartbeat.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you, good draft. Back in 2002.
Casey Middleton.
2002,
Oh, God.
fucking Rick
Yeah,
Nash got
yeah.
drafted.
So actually,
And then
Trevor,
Foamy.
yeah. So Trevor, you actually bring up a good point by mentioning Casey Middlestat because we talked about this Monday night. So what happened is we talked about Rasmus Dahlin, how he put on 14 pounds of muscle in the offseason. He's just like making himself more durable.
Machine.
He's
Dude's
a
a
beast.
machine.
Yeah, Middlestat lost 3 pounds.
Oh my
so he's
God.
even smaller now instead of bulking up.
And we
he's still
re-signed him.
And he's still getting manhandled.
And we re-signed him.
I know,
What do you
we
think?
were signing him for another year.
What did Sam Reinhart do in 14-15? He went to the gym every day, bulked up, and now he's a second liner, or at least
Right.
maybe a
He's
first
finally
liner.
playing better like he had in his first season.
Casey Middlestat fucking loses 3 pounds. How much lighter can you get, you stick body? Like,
Right.
He's gonna get beat the fuck up.
he's not going to be. And we re-signed him.
Right.
Ah,
I mean,
it fucking blows my mind.
yeah. And I mean, all together with him now, I'm actually pulling up like the newest stats for him, but with where he is right now, he's 6'1". He was at 198, so now he's like 6'1", 195. So he's like a stick figure for everything. And basically, even with playing in the AHL when he ended up splitting time, so he played 31 games with us last season, and I mean, altogether, he only had like 4 goals, 5 assists, and 9 total points, and he had a -5 rating. But when he went to Rochester and he played in 36 games, 9 goals, 16 assists, 25 total points, and 6 penalty minutes. Take a guess at his plus-minus rating.
A -12.
Close.
-15.
You got it.
Oh my God, it's fucking terrible.
So he tanked his rating even more, playing the same amount of games. I'm like, you're at a -15. I mean, how much more can you suck?
That's horrible. That's absolutely terrible, and that's on freaking Tim Murray. Oh no, wait, no, that was Jason.
Chris Taylor was the coach over there at the time until he got fired when they ended up cleaning house with getting rid of Botterill.
How about that? Rasmus Asplund is a better pick than Alex Nylander.
By far.
Yeah, I think so by far.
What about
I think
no, best pick in 2016. Best pick in 2016, Cliff Pooh, because we got Jeff Skinner.
That was a good deal.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That was a nice. I mean, I didn't think that trade would ever go through ever, but hey, whatever, it works, man. But I mean, I'm more excited. I don't know about you guys, but in its 2020 draft, especially with the World Juniors going on and everything, I'm more happy about the Jason Paterka pick than the Jack Quinn pick. I think JJ Paterka is going to be a fucking weapon in this organization.
He very well could be. It's very possible.
Very true.
I think Quinn's got to hit the weights a little bit. He got to do some pull-ups, got to do some curls. He's kind of a lightweight. He'll build up some muscle there. I would have loved Marco Rossi because he's ready for the league now. I wanted Rossi so bad.
I remember you were talking about him on your show at one point.
Yeah, dude. Oh God, I was just going off. I'm like, okay, this was for the record. This was before the whole Taylor Hall thing happened. So this is when we only signed Reeder. We drafted Quinn, drafted Paterka. We signed Davidson. We signed Irwin. Those were the only things that were happening at that point. So I just lost my shit on my show. And that was when I was in Fredonia and I was doing live shows then.
Right.
I had to speak my mind. I'm like, listen, this is what's going on. And unless we don't sign one of these major free agents, which we did later on, roughly, I think it was literally a day after we signed Taylor Hall. I'm like, if we don't sign any of these free agents, we are going to fucking suck, and Eichel's going to want to get out of here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, looking back at recent drafts, I mean, I like 2017 for this reason. 54th pick overall in draft, second round, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. I love what I've seen out of him as a goalie. Absolutely love what I've seen.
He's going to be a stud. He's going to be a stud.
He's going to be a great goalie. And, I mean,
He's
everything.
going to be up there with Hasek and Ryan Miller.
Yeah.
If he can go on this pace, I swear to God.
Absolutely. I mean, he's tearing it up. And one of the things I remember on our old page on Blue and Gold Mafia, we ended up we actually were live a couple times from the scrimmage and the Blue and Gold scrimmage. And we also ended up going live in some of the practices when they had the Harbor Center opened up for him. And just the stuff that Luukkonen can do. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Tuukka Rask. He's like a combination of like Hasek, Miller, and Tuukka Rask. I mean, he can do it all. And just some of the stuff that he can do with the puck control and how he can actually manage the plays. I mean, he's playing like more like a seasoned pro than he really is a rookie. I mean,
have you noticed that it's always the foreign goalie that shows up and shows out? It's not like the American or Canadian guy. It's always the guy from the Czech Republic or Slovakia or
Finland or
Sweden or Finland. Yeah, it's always those.
Yeah.
The Scandinavian or Eastern European guys that absolutely fucking light it up.
Yeah, like Henrik Lundqvist was a perfect example when he was in his prime. I mean, he was one of those goalies I hated to see us play against.
Oh, Frederick Anderson. Frederick Anderson is another example.
Freddie Anderson, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
But
Rask has been great for a long time. I mean, he was another one.
Hank, for the most part, Lundqvist, we usually got the best out of Lundqvist. Like, we usually had his number whenever we played him. I remember, especially in 08 and 09, they would put in a guy named Steve Valiquette against Buffalo because Lundqvist would choke against the Sabres. I don't know what it was about the Sabres, but Lundqvist wouldn't be on his A game whenever he played us.
Well, remember when we played him in that playoff series? And basically what happened is we were the only team that really took the Rangers a distance.
Yeah, that game 5 especially, like Lundqvist thought he had it. Like he was lights out that entire night. Late goal from Marty Straka. Everyone thinks the game is over, and then Drury comes back, ties the game at 1, and then obviously Maxi Finneganov from the blue line. That was the goal that decided that game. But like we usually got the best out of the goalies like Rask and Lundqvist. It was just like the goalies that you wouldn't even expect. Like Braden Holtby would absolutely rob Buffalo. He would play outstanding against Buffalo. Philip Grubauer, that's his name, right? Phil Grubauer?
Yeah, Philip Grubauer.
He destroyed the fucking Sabres. He wouldn't let in anything against Buffalo. They would always start Grubauer. Marc-Andre Fleury.
I was just about to mention him, too. I mean, Marc-Andre Fleury, great goalie when we played against him.
Amazing goalie. And in the Winter Classic, they threw Ty Conklin in there. I went to that game. I thought we were going to win that game like 8-0. Because I'm like, whoa, you guys are taking out Fleury? You're starting
Conklin had a good game.
What kind of drugs were you on at the time?
I mean, I'm thinking you're taking out Fleury. You're putting in a backup at the Winter Classic in the tundra of Orchard Park, New York. Like, I was thinking we were going to score like 8 goals on them. But both goalies played a pretty good game in that game. It lasted like 5.5 hours.
Right. But then if we're looking at American goalies, Jonathan Quick is one of the ones that stands right out.
Yep. Oh, man.
Sure.
Jonathan Quick.
Nick Quick.
Right, or even Ben Bishop. I mean, he was decent for Tampa. I mean,
Jimmy Howard.
Yeah,
Jimmy Howard's out of his prime at this point.
He's out of his prime, but I mean,
he's out of his prime for a while. But he was good for a long time.
He made the 2010 Olympics. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, he obviously wasn't the starter because our boy Ryan Miller was the starter in 2010. But I mean,
Chris Osgood back in the day. I mean, he was good.
Osgood, yeah. But
He reminds me somewhat to Hasek, though. Osgood reminds me of Hasek, the way he played.
Yeah.
Oh, Chicago hated that trade after he sent Hasek here, and then he turned out to be one of the greatest goaltenders ever.
Well, I mean, remember, you can't forget about Nikolai Havy-Bulin.
Yeah, he was good.
The Bulin Wall. I mean, another European guy who showed up and showed out. I mean, he was a beast. They called him the freaking Bulin Wall.
Yeah.
What about Eddie the Eagle Belfour?
Eddie Belfour.
He's a legend in Toronto.
Fuck him in 1999. Fuck him.
Yeah. Carey Price, of course.
Right, 1999.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, no, fuck Gary Bettman. Fuck the refs and fuck Brett Hall. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
That one shot snap from the knee.
Mm-hmm.
Dave on the goal line. Yep.
Oh,
Give me a fucking break.
right. Montreal's goaltender, Carey Price. I mean, he's carried that team for years.
Cristobal Huet. Remember him?
Yeah.
Fresh.
Remember him?
Yeah. We look at good goaltenders. Patrick Watt. No one ever can forget him.
I think he was the only. What was it? Was he the only goalie to win the Vezina Trophy in the Eastern and Western Conference? I think the only goalie.
Yeah.
He won
No,
it.
Hasek?
No, Patrick Watt.
Patrick Watt.
Oh,
He
Patrick Watt.
won the Vezina in Montreal, and he also won it in Colorado.
I'm pretty sure he did. I mean, I can look it up for you if you want.
And he did it in his first year in Colorado too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think didn't they win the Stanley Cup?
Yep.
Yeah.
Won it.
Guys,
Yeah.
Hasn't they won the cup?
Yeah.
Who they
Yeah.
beat? Did they beat
Florida.
they
Florida
beat-
Panthers.
That was who it was. Yeah.
No, the '96 Vezina Trophy winner was Jim Carrey.
Interesting.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim Carrey won the Vezina in '96.
Maybe it was Stanley Cups. Maybe it was
Yeah.
Stanley.
Yeah, Patrick Watt won the Stanley Cup in '96, and I think he won the Conn Smythe Trophy.
My relative was playing on the Florida Panthers at the time. Tom Fitzgerald.
Who?
Okay. Yeah, I remember.
Tom.
Wait, your brother played for the Florida Panthers?
Not my brother. He's my relative.
Wait, you have a relative that played for the Panthers?
Yeah, it's Tom Fitzgerald.
You should bring
Wait,
him on
isn't
sometime.
that?
Where's your mom?
Or what?
Yeah, bring him on the show sometime.
Here.
I don't know. He cutting out. What'd you say?
We were saying
You should bring
on
him
the
on
show
the show
sometime.
sometime.
You guys gotta stop talking.
Bring him on. Bring him on the show. Bring him on the show.
I'll try. We don't talk much, but I'll try.
Okay. All right.
He's August 28th, 1968. He's from, where is it, Massachusetts? Is that what it says?
Yeah, he's my mom's second cousin. He's not like close family, but he's family at least.
He played 17 seasons in the NHL. He currently serves as the general manager and executive vice president of the New Jersey Devils.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, how about that?
What a
And
beat.
another guy I was talking to, I said about, I don't know, it was Tom I was talking to. Another of my hometown guys that I grew up with was Michael Ryder.
Michael Ryder.
I'd love to have him on here sometime.
Yeah, I talk to him all the time, but he's like, he tries to stay under the fucking radar. Not that he's famous or anything, but
Right.
Dude, you should hit me up. I get him on my show.
yeah, he
Why did you used to like fucking destroy Ryan Miller back in the day? What's up with that fucking shit?
he had a good release all through his career, man. He was a
Do you guys remember AK-27, Alex Kovalev?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Man, that dude was insane. Saku Koivu,
Koivu, I liked.
Chris Higgins. That team was good. I'm surprised they didn't go anywhere.
Oh.
Oh, another guy I have a mad respect for is fucking Danny Briere.
Danny Briere.
My all-time favorite Sabre
Yeah.
growing up.
One of the guys I love
got
following.
mad respect for that guy, man. Like from going through what he did, and come back and fucking do what he
Yeah.
did, man. He got all the respect in the world for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, man.
I mean,
Chris
even
Drury
looking-
and
yeah. Yeah, I mean, even looking back at like some of the other players that have been notable on the league, I mean, look at Roberto Luongo, who ended up being with the Panthers, and he played with Vancouver.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Long time in Vancouver.
Yeah,
Then he went back to Florida.
right.
He's always still.
I used to have season tickets. I used to go to the games with my dad and my brother a lot. I've seen some pretty good goalies live. We got seasons in 06 and we've had him since, or we got rid of him in 17, I think it was. So we saw a bunch of goalies come and go here and there. We saw like Lundqvist, Fleury. We saw Luongo. We saw like a bunch of young upcoming goalies. We saw Corey Schneider as a rookie. I mean, just a bunch of these, goalies that I love to see growing up, and a bunch of goalies that I probably forgot by now, like a bunch of scrubs too. Like, do you guys remember fucking Matthew Guerin?
Oh yeah.
He was a fucking loser. I always loved it when the Sabres would play him and I was going to the game. And like Brent Johnson with the Caps.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a hot garbage mess.
Brent Johnson. I've seen John Sebastian Jaguar live. He's a fun one to watch. JSG is a beast.
Mhm.
When he used to play over there in Anaheim,
Yeah.
Elite too.
he was a beast. Just a bunch of good guys.
I mean, I remember when Marc-Andre Fleury was with the Pens, and actually I saw 2 of his games in Pittsburgh when he ended up playing down there. I remember one time when I was in the old Igloo, and I'll tell you, it's like the odd was way better than the Igloo. I'll tell you that for a fact. But seeing Fleury end up lighting it up against Minnesota, that was beautiful. And then over in the new building, the PPG Paints Arena, I remember when they ended up playing Vancouver, and Fleury ended up lighting it up. And same thing. I mean, it's just, he was fun to watch. And then there were like a couple things that were notable, like when I ended up seeing those 2 games over a couple of seasons down there. So I remember in the old Igloo, I actually saw Sidney Crosby drop the gloves, which I'm like, I was surprised when that actually happened. Of course, he got his ass beat, but I was surprised he dropped the gloves. And then really in the new building, I got to see, I'm trying to remember like right off the bat. Oh, I remember seeing Ali Mata score his first ever NHL goal.
Oh, nice. Sweet. Awesome.
Yeah, and for him to come back from cancer too, that's even more impressive.
Yeah. Same with Saku Koivu. He left the league in 2000, and then he came back in 2002, and everyone was just like so happy for him.
Yeah. Oh, same here.
Yeah.
I loved watching his comeback.
Yeah. I mean, to be able to come back from that and then just continue your career and not like retire is like mad props.
Yeah. Or how about Oscar Lindblom with the Flyers? How he came back.
Oh,
What about like Rich Peverley? Didn't he come back after he had some sort of aneurysm or something on the bench? Like, what was that? Remember Rich Peverley like passed out on the bench?
I remember that.
Yeah, did they have to like bring up the defibrillator or something like that? Because or no, there was like a game in Dallas. I remember something like that happened.
Pittsburgh. I think it was a Pittsburgh player, wasn't it? Passed out on the bench with the defibrillator and shit.
Something like that. Yeah.
I thought it happened in Detroit also.
No, it was the Pittsburgh player that passed out on the fucking bench though.
I remember Jay Bowmeister last year before the whole world shut down and passed out on the bench. Remember that?
Yeah, that I do.
That was crazy. But
Yeah.
I've only been to 2 Sabres playoff games live, and they were both game ones. One was in 2007 in the semifinals against the Rangers. Sabres won 5-3, 5-2, I believe the score was, and then game 1 in 2010 against Boston, and the Sabres won 2-1.
Right.
So I'm at playoff games.
I went to 3 Sabres playoff games in my life. I went to games 3 and 4 in 2007 against the Islanders, and I went to game 6 in 2007 against the Rangers.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Actually, you want to talk about a good comeback, Mario Lemieux, after he ended up dealing with Hodgkin's disease.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Did he come back in 2005, first season?
I think he did, actually.
Yeah, I think he played with the Pens in 2005. He's like a third liner, I think, for them.
Right. Yeah, he's got his statue outside of that arena, too. Well deserved.
I remember watching old highlights of the Sabres and Penguins series in 2001 in the semifinals. Every time Lemieux touched the puck, the Sabres fans would boo the living shit out of him. Same thing with like in 2007 where the Sabres were booing Yager every time he touched the puck.
Mm-hmm.
Like they would find the best player and just boo the shit out of him.
Right.
So funny.
Yeah, I still remember back in '91 when Rob Ray was playing, and he ended up going into the stands at the Colisée in Quebec City, and he ended up beating the living hell out of a fan.
Out of a 21-year-old
Mm-hmm.
who hopped over the glass. He got like 14 rights on him.
Yeah, he like just pounded him. I mean, that's like one of the moments I remember. And actually, it's funny because Razor actually has like an ice cream restaurant out here in Eden, so. When he reopens for a season, I actually might want to take a ride out there.
Yeah, you should. Definitely should.
Do you remember the game when fucking the fan squirted like mustard ketchup on Domi and he pulled him into the fucking box?
The penalty box?
Start
Yeah.
pounding him.
I was there. I was there.
Nice.
That is awesome. They had to get the cops in the penalty box.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, man! I'm you know what? I swear, like I had the choice. We had the choice between our seats being on the home side or the visiting side, and my dad picked the away side, so we're a bit away from it. But like I literally could see Domi pulling the guy into the box and feeding him fucking punch. It was fucking hilarious.
Nice.
I remember watching like highlights of that, and the fan was bloody. He was busted open.
Oh, dude, he fucking hit him 6 times before he even passed the glass.
Domi had some. He hit him pretty hard.
Oh, he could
But-
throw some jackhammers in his day.
Dude, have you ever met Domi in your life? I've met Domi.
I
And
met
Domi
Domi.
might be a short, stocky guy, but I'm telling you, he's like a fucking birch tree. He ain't nothing to fuck with.
Right. Well, it's like that with Jordan Tutu back in the day also. I mean, he's like one of the shortest guys in the league, but he would fight anybody.
You guys remember Steve Bernier's first game as a Sabre, aka his only good game as a Sabre?
Yeah.
I was at that
His
game. I
only
was
good
at
game.
that game. Jordan Tutu tackles Derek Roy in the corner. Here comes fucking Bernier. He comes in and he checks him from behind. So Bernier got 2 goals, 2 assists, and he got a 5-minute major that
Nice.
night. Like he was obviously the first star of the game. Like
Right.
he didn't take shit from anybody. He's like, oh, I've only been on this team for 12 hours. I'm gonna go over there and fucking protect my fucking teammate Derek Roy, who's like fucking a foot shorter than me. I'm just gonna go over there and nail Jordan Tutu real quick, get a 5-minute major, and get the first star.
Yeah.
Get a nice 40-hour hat trick here.
And I will say, Tutu was actually one of those guys I actually liked for a long time, just because of the fact that he just didn't give a crap. He would just fight anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, and he was known as the Tutu train.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah. Or how about this for a fighting matchup? George Larac versus Ritus Evenins.
That was a good one. Wasn't that the one where George Larac was mic'd up and he's like, all right,
Yeah.
man.
He's like, you want to go? Okay. Square up? Okay, good luck, man. And then he drops the gloves.
I don't care. I don't care. He says the best fight in history, in my mind, was the third fight between Probert and Domi.
Oh, Probert was someone you didn't want to mess with.
No,
And that's
Ray and
the only-
Brielle round 2. Ray
Oh,
and
man.
Brielle round 2. Where he
Rob Ray was fucking a beast too, but like I kind of feel like the Probert fights were like way more epic than because Domi and Rob Ray fought like fucking
It's like 7 times at least.
for fuck's sake.
look up
Can't count these.
look up Aaron Downey versus Jesse Bowler.
Oh, yeah, the one-punch KO.
He ducks it and hits him with a left. He's
Yeah,
out.
he just went straight out. Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, remember remember Derek Bugard when he ended up having that KO?
Boogeyman.
Yeah. Yeah, and it almost looked like his shoulder, but he really like jammed him real good in the jaw and he like broke his jaw.
What about Sean Avery versus Pat Coletta in 09? When Coletta had the black eye and Avery was just going right after it, I'm like, you piece of shit. Like you're
Sean
going
Avery-
to
Sean Avery is a cancer for the
dog
league.
shit. Nobody likes Sean Avery. No one ever did. He's such a fucking piece of shit.
Remember
Yeah.
when he said like my passion in life is fashion? I'm like, you woman.
He's the only person I've ever seen to piss off Martin Brodeur.
Yeah. Yeah, Sean Avery was like cancer on the ass of the league.
Yeah, and there was a rule named after him too.
Oh,
What
yeah.
did he say about his ex-girlfriend that got him like kicked off the Dallas Stars? What did he say?
Oh,
Oh, God.
I don't remember what he said. I think I forget what he said. It was so long ago. This was like 15 years ago when he did this.
Did he say like? Oh, no, he said He said something about sloppy seconds, and that got him kicked off the team.
Oh, here you go. Yeah, so actually I found it. So it was so it is actually still on ESPN.com, but it was his let's see where it is. I'm just trying to see what it is. So it says that the article says Avery suspended indefinitely for comments related to ex-girlfriends. So what ends up happening, he was punished indefinitely by Bettman for using a crude term about his former girlfriends now dating other hockey players. And and then it said his inflammatory line came following a morning skate in Calgary, Alberta. Reporters were waiting to speak with Avery about disparaging remarks he made last month about Flame star Jerome McGinley when Avery walked over to the group and asked if there was a camera present. When told there was, he said, quote, "I'm just going to say one thing. I'm really happy to be back in Calgary. I love Canada. I just want to comment on how it's become like a common thing in the NHL for guys to fall in love with my sloppy seconds. I don't know what that's about, but enjoy the game tonight. And then he walked out.
I think I know who he was referring to.
Yeah,
But
his former girlfriend Alicia Cuthbert, who was on 24 in the movie Old School.
Dion Phaneuf's wife.
Yeah. Yep. And she was also dating Mike Komisarek of the Canadiens at the time. And then she was also and apparently Sean Avery also dated Rachel Hunter, the former Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, who ended up becoming the girlfriend of Jarrett Stahl.
How about that?
Or Jarrett Stoll, however you pronounce it.
Did you see his interview on Spit and Chicklets? Sean Avery is just a case of CTE.
He is.
Oh God!
I mean, and nobody in the NHL likes him.
Nobody. Remember his dive when he played with the Kings on one
yeah.
launches himself forward.
Mm-hmm.
That was some stupid shit.
Sure. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap up the show?
I just want to say, Colts better. I mean, all I wanted this year was playoffs. So if the Bills are going to go in there and win 44-0, okay, whatever. As long as the Colts, I won't be pissed. As long as the Colts blow like a 28-7 lead late in the game and lose, that's when I'll be fucking heated. But
what if it doesn't go down around them?
If they lose 44-0, I'll be like, whatever. All I wanted this year was playoffs. So let that be said. Let that be said.
Yeah, it sounds like when the Bills made the playoffs for the first time in almost 20 years, and they lose by 7 to Jacksonville, and then they started building the foundation from there. So it could be down that route, but I don't know if that'll be the case.
You never know. Colts are a weird team, man.
True. But we'll see on Saturday. I mean, I wish you all the best, no matter the outcome.
Yes, sir. And if the Bills win, you know what team I'm pulling for to win the chip. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
At least you confirmed it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think it's going to be a tight game, and it's going to be a fun one to watch. So really, from here, let's just may the better team win. I mean, I think the Bills will ultimately take it, but I'm thinking it's probably going to only be about a 7-point margin.
I hope so. I mean, I hope it's a good game. I hope it's a watchable game.
I'm saying 36-17. That's what I called it.
I said 38 on my show yesterday, 38-24 Buffalo.
I'm going to say 38-17 Buffalo.
I'm thinking it's going to be even a little bit lower scoring than that. I'm thinking more like 21-14 Buffalo.
The over-under is 51. The Bills might get 38 alone, so bet the over if you're betting on the Vegas line.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then actually one last thing too, irrelevant news. The New York Knicks are actually still undefeated because they beat Utah tonight.
Who the fuck cares?
No, nobody cares about basketball, Tom. Fuck.
Right, that's why I said irrelevant news.
God
the
damn
fuck?
it. Nobody gives a fuck.
All right, guys. Well, this was actually one of our longer shows. We went over 2.5 hours altogether. So of course I know Sean ended up leaving us a little earlier, but for all of us, thanks for being on. And let's go ahead and roll the credits. Take care of yourselves and each other, everybody. Why is the thing stopping? And he wasn't even here tonight.